Hello, hello, everyone. Good to see you again. Always good to see you all more than once. It is Monday, September 8th. And oh my goodness, hold on. Got an echo. Is that better? Oh, and I've got Lady Freedom here. Hi, Lady Freedom. Can you hear me? Lady Freedom, can you hear me? Hold on, let me check on her through messaging. We are here today for Sebastian. We are here today for Sebastian Rogers. Please give me a 1 if you can hear me. Perfect. One moment, please. We're trying to connect Miss. Hold on one second, my friends. We're trying to get everyone in here and their sound working. Hello, Madhu Camel. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Minnie, for being here. Bliss, Gypsy, Little Miss Sharon, Show Poodles, Tina D, Town Chat, thank you for being here to mod. Minnie, thank you for being here to mod. Hello, Kiki25 True Crime. You are welcome to come on in. Let me add you to the stage. Can you hear me, Kiki?
I can hear you playing. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hold on one second. We're trying to get our other friend in here.
Yeah, I
Yes,
think I
ma'am.
got it. How does that sound, Jay?
Oh, you sound great. How do I sound?
You sound great now. Sorry, that was on my end. Thank you.
That's
Hey, Kiki.
okay. Well, thank you all for joining us this evening. Everyone's very excited that we are gathering together, and I'm very glad to hear that. I'm Jay with Crime Time Buzz, and we have Lady Freedom Raw Narrative with us. And I'm not sure how does your group address you, Lady Freedom? Do they call you Lady Freedom?
Usually just Lady Freedom, yes.
Perfect. And I have Lady Freedom with me, and I have Kiki 2025 True Crime. Welcome, Kiki, Lady Freedom. We are here for
Thank you.
Sebastian. You are
Thank
so
you so
welcome.
much for having me, Jay. Well, having us.
Yes.
Absolutely. I think it's so important that we unite for Sebastian.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Hmm.
I do too, and comparing notes is a big one too.
Yes, we've been talking on the phones a lot and putting notes and things together, and it's amazing when we all share what we have, how things can click and connect, right?
Yes. It's
I
wild.
agree.
Well, for everyone here, we have a good show for you today. Hey, Cinderella, long time no see. Good to see ya. Hi, GA64. We have a wonderful show for you today. We are going to go over the updates for Sebastian, discuss them. If you missed my video from earlier today, there was a release of the transcript of the second phone call with Texas Roadhouse, which revealed quite a bit. And then we are also going to talk about something called the tender years and the FBI, a policy. And did you ladies get to finish watching? I only was able to watch a little bit of Coffin Daffer. Did you all get to watch the whole thing?
I did not get to watch her latest. I
Okay.
was reviewing from 7 months ago, actually, today.
It's always important to go back, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Lady Freedom, were you able to watch it today?
I think I might have, excuse me, sorry. I think I might have missed like maybe the last 20 minutes or
Okay,
so,
I think
but
that's
I was
about
in there much of it. Yes.
okay, so what we can do is we'll just go over what we have, right? I know a lot of people in the chat were talking about her show when I first was watching the chat. So we can also go over that maybe before we tie into that policy, Lady Freedom, because I think that might connect if we share what Coffin Daffer shared and then go into that policy. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think that policy is really important. I mean, I don't know how effective it will be, but it don't you think, I mean, without getting too far into it, I think Sebastian fits the criteria.
I do. I do think he fits this criteria. The only two words that is because they usually go in with fast and rapid, but I'm sure it doesn't mean it's ever too late, right?
Right. I
Especially
would
when
hope not.
no, especially when they're considered vulnerable. So welcome in everyone. Thank you for being here. We are going to go ahead and begin with our updates. Good. We'll go ahead and begin with updates. But the first thing I want to show you real quick is on Sebastian's FBI flyer. I want to read something to you. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers was last seen on February 25th, 2024. And this is for those of you who are new to the case, but there's also a sentence in here that is going to tie what we talk about in a little bit. From the area of Stafford Court in Hendersonville, Tennessee. He was wearing a black sweatshirt. Boy, they still have that wrong. Black sweatpants and black square frame glasses. Sebastian has medical conditions, including autism, that may impair his ability to return safely without assistance. And that's really important piece for as we go speaking about the policy we are going to talk about called the tender years policy. So I'll go ahead and pull up the updates. Do you all want to, let's see, here we go. Do you all want to read them? Do you want me to read them?
You can, either one of you guys. I don't have my laptop in front of me. It's just my phone. So I can't even see chat right now. I need to go get my laptop.
I
Okay,
just now
okay.
got my phone too, Kiki, so don't
Okay.
That's
feel bad.
fine. I am more than
Sorry.
happy. No problem. I'm more than happy to read them. I just wanted to make sure that, you know, you all didn't want to read them.
Yeah,
So
you
here,
go ahead. You're the
oh,
You're
teach.
good, Jay. Yeah.
oh, gee, thanks.
I'm
Unless
just
you don't
playing.
want to read them, wink, wink. No.
Yeah,
I know.
no, I don't mind at all. Let me share the
It is a
tab.
lot of reading, though, right? It is a lot, which I mean, it's a
It
good thing,
is.
right? We're getting a lot of information.
Absolutely. For silence for a while, we have so much information. At night, Dog the Bounty Hunter, they are really, really doing a great job in One World of getting things out for Sebastian, which I'm just absolutely thrilled about. 1 second. Okay. I'm going to read this update real quick, and then there's something I need to share that I shared earlier today. So hold on 1 second. Excuse me. Sorry, you guys. I need to
No
pull up.
worries, no
I
worries. We
need
could
to pull up the update.
Yeah, you're fine. I'm actually ran in and got my laptop real quick.
Did you all hear CrimeCon is going to be in Las Vegas?
Really?
Oh,
CrimeCon
I
next
didn't
year
hear.
will be in Las Vegas.
Wow.
Trying to look
I've
for where
never
the
been to Vegas, but it'd be a reason to go.
I know, right? I've never been either.
Oh, really? It's fun.
Never.
Vegas can be a lot of fun. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know why it's not popping up in my email. Oh, here it is. Okay. Wait, I have it to share. Okay. Additional, and this came out today, I believe. Yes, 5 hours ago. And it says, let me enlarge it. We have a lot of people who don't have X, so they like to screenshot the material. This is from At Night Creative Intelligence. And it says additional redacted materials released in the search for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. And as we've been told, as they are redacting information, they will be releasing it for us. Redacting meaning covering personal information, investigative information that should not get out there, but giving us information that they are able to release. At Night Private Intelligence Agency, under the direction of One World, confirms that additional redacted documents have been disseminated today as part of our rolling release initiative. Among the newly released materials is the second interview with a separate Texas Roadhouse employee, providing further insight and corroboration of events tied to the night Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers disappeared. The releases reflect our commitment to transparency, evidence-based reporting, and the counter misinformation. Each document is reviewed and redacted to meet federal dissemination standards while preserving the integrity of active investigations. The search for Sebastian continues. Our agency will keep issuing further materials as they are cleared for release. There's our handsome man right there. He's so handsome. Okay.
Yes, he is.
He really is. So I'm going to share this tab. And the one thing I wanted to bring up is the FBI post, because in the FBI post, they spoke of Green Hoodie as a rumor. You all remember that? It came out on September 4th.
Yes.
Yes.
And that Green Hoodie had been identified as employees as being a regular, frequent customer. Well, this document, in talking to the Texas Roadhouse employee, they say they do not know who it is. Now, my concern is, and I hate to say this, allegedly, in my opinion, did they interview the correct Green Hoodie? You know, they even said in their post, wearing the very same sweatshirt during the interview. I could take off a sweatshirt and pass it to someone, and we talked about that yesterday. So what are your all's thoughts on that?
Well, in this case, honestly, excuse me,
Mhm.
we don't know what's truth and fact, honestly, unless we have it right in front of us, because there's been, so much said and everybody, oh, that's debunked. And that was when I first came on, a lot of people were saying, no, that was debunked. And I started thinking, what if there's always, in my opinion, allegedly, there's always a chance that it's not debunked. Who debunked it? Who can we actually trust? You know?
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's hard when we have conflicting information. What are your thoughts, Lady Freedom?
Well, I would have to agree just because they're not showing us any proof of anything. So if they were to come out and give us a black and white proof of something, I think it would be easier for us all to understand. But since it's all really hearsay, like Kiki was saying, it's basically them telling us their opinion rather than showing us any hard proof.
Correct. That's how I feel too. Whereas we have At Night and Dog in One World showing us proof of their correspondences, evidence, things that they're gathering. And the one, which helps, right? It just really helps because we're seeing it. We can believe that things are being done. And it's so sad that in this situation, we can't believe other things, but so much has been inaccurate. And I mean, come on, let's just say trash truck, right? Trash truck, which is
Mm.
now neighbor's headlights, Green Hoodie, not even mentioned, no footage mentioned until Dog and At Night and One World put it out. And then they said, you can go ahead and put this out there. Please send us leads to see if anyone can identify the person. And then miraculously, within such a short time, they located, interviewed, and cleared this person. But now we're hearing them say that the person was a frequent, what can I say, frequent customer at Texas Roadhouse, and that does not seem to be the case. So I'm going to read these documents unless you all would love to. And if you saw my video earlier, I did put out a video with these documents, but it's such an important conversation because it pulls out a lot of information. Even though things are redacted, because we know the case, many of us, we can kind of figure out who they're talking about, right? And for those of
Yeah.
you
That's what
new,
I said too, Jay, was that we have to fill in the blanks, but I agree they're putting this out, at least we have it, and they cleared the Green Hoodie right after that footage was released, and I think they should have done that right off the bat, is my only 2 cents.
absolutely. They should have interviewed whomever was around that vehicle or around Sebastian that night, right? Because you just
Yes.
never know. Oh, thank you, YouTuber is
Definitely.
here. All my mods, I want to thank you for being here. You are a dream. You run a beautiful chat. You're so welcoming, and I appreciate you for the work you do. And thank you for being here for all three of us this evening. The first thing I want to let you know is this is the second phone call that the team had, the Joint Cyber Task Force, which is all of them, Dog, One World, At Night, their Joint Cyber Task Force, and they made contact. But on November 26th, you'll find from this document that they, at 3:19 p.m. Eastern, they had sent some questions asking to identify an employee, also asking for additional footage and specifically additional footage of a table inside the restaurant. Then on November 29th at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time, they followed up with a list of additionally 6 questions, requesting and requesting to review the review and release of additional surveillance footage tied to February 25th, 2024. And those of you new to the case, that is the night Sebastian Rogers was last seen, leaving publicly in footage last proof of life. Then Dog personally raised that request to ensure inquiries were advanced. And the phone call we are about to read was from December 4th with Texas Corporation and the team. Dog, At Night, One World, aka Joint Cyber Task Force. Things that I find really important in this before we go through it is they did identify that there was a 40-second exchange. And in this dialogue, you will see in this transcript that the Texas Roadhouse employee speaking says, so blank handed something to blank. So we don't know if Green Hoodie handed something to KP or KP handed something to Green Hoodie. Do you all have any thoughts on that, or do you want me to start reading it? The one thing I thought interesting is we do have one name in this document that is not redacted. And I intend to look that up and into that tomorrow when I have a little time for research. So any of my mods, could you please drop a link to Lady Freedom's channel and Kiki 2025 True Crime, please? We'd love it if you'd go over and subscribe to those channels as well. Thank you very much, mods. Okay, I'm
Thank
going to
you
start.
guys. Thank you, Mods and Jay too. And I want to ask really quick if we know, because this is alleging that they weren't familiar with the green hoodie as stated before, or and was this an employee that was there that would know the regular customers?
Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic. I just want to, I'm writing notes here too, Jay. So
Yes,
I have
their team had interviewed someone else,
Mhm.
and then they did this interview as well. And in the first transcript, they explained that everything was going to go through one person at the Texas Roadhouse, all inquiries, all calls. So they had a pretty well way to handle the correspondence right away, it seemed, at the Texas Roadhouse. And in yesterday's correspondence that we read, the manager said, Sebastian could be still alive and he couldn't make contact with the lead detective. And so he is talking to the team. And this one
Right. I
specifically,
gotcha.
yeah, and
awesome.
this one specifically addresses a certain individual or two going into the restaurant or requesting a year later footage. And the Texas Roadhouse employee says, why after a year? Well, I can answer that in my opinion, and I bet you guys can too. You want to give it a shot? Why after a year would someone go in there asking for footage? Why wouldn't it be cared when local law enforcement may have had it, but yet when an investigative agency and Dog has it, it becomes an emergency to race in there and demand to see the footage?
In
Mhm.
my
When you're
opinion, did I interrupt? I'm sorry.
not at
No, go
all,
for
I'm
it.
finished.
Okay. My opinion, if I was in that place as that person and my child was missing, I would have been all over LE the entire time, just like Seth has been, in my opinion, to try to get every lead, every, what ifs possible. I wouldn't have waited a year.
I
Correct.
agree
And if you're
wholeheartedly.
right. And if you're sitting there, would you need to see what was going on if you just went to dinner, let me just speculate. If I went to dinner with my child and I was having dinner with my child, and I was there, I wouldn't wait a year if I felt there was might be something that went on there. I would have went there immediately and said, "Let's see if anything went on around me." But the fact that she waited a year until other investigators had it is alarming to me because that tells me she was looking to see what everyone else was looking at.
Mm, yeah. And
She didn't want us to see the interaction, in my opinion. I agree. She did not want us to see that Sebastian wasn't happy, that she wasn't happy. I mean, I didn't see her smile, not one time.
mm-mm.
Right. Or really
my
interact with him. Go ahead,
Good.
Kiki.
Okay, I'm sorry. My
No,
No,
it's
we're all kind of
concern,
it breaks in and out, and it sounds like we're interrupting each other, y'all, but we're not. It's just kind of breaks. Go ahead, Kiki.
my concern is, and I think there's been several that told me an answer to this. It's just kind of hard to believe that only one camera above the to-go window was working because I done a live on the different cameras inside outside of Hendersonville, Texas Roadhouse, okay?
Mhm.
And there was several. You cannot tell me a business that big doesn't have one at the front door working at all times because they are going to want, if it's not working, they're going to get on phone with someone, in my opinion, to get those cameras working.
Oh, I
Yes, I
agree. And
agree.
even watching your live, there was many, many other camera angles and different cameras working in the facility that day. I mean, the ones from outside were crystal clear.
Interesting. See, oop, excuse me, I put someone else's up there by accident. Very interesting. So there were cameras not working, Kiki?
Supposedly, the ones in chat had told me the cameras weren't working that night, except for the
Interesting.
one. And I was like, well,
About
how does that work? Because that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Not to mention, you have poles that, some in the parking lot, some across the street. They can have cameras in them also, in my
I
opinion.
agree.
yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
And there's seems to be a lot going on in there, right?
Yes. And the one question, another that I had, everyone kept mentioning, and I'm not alleging that someone's responsible for anything. I want to be clear on that. But the temporary employee was my question of, why was he temporary? Where did he go? What was his job? And where was he that night?
Kiki, would you like to clarify to the chat, those new to the case, whom is the temporary employee?
There was a young man that everyone said that was a temporary employee. I don't know who it was, but I had heard, and this is alleged, but I'd heard there was a temporary employee from different channels actually that was there but is no longer there.
Yes, that is actually what I heard as well. And
And that's the
was
black
that,
hoodie,
I
the
was
black
just going
hoodie
to
guy.
say, I believe it's the black.
Sorry.
Yes. I was trying to think the same thing. And I actually had someone from our community who's in Tennessee who stopped by the Texas Roadhouse and was indeed told he was a temporary employee and no longer there.
Hmm.
So
Now, what does a
interesting.
temporary employee mean, though? Because I've never worked in a restaurant where we called anyone a temporary employee.
Well,
That's
that
my thought.
befuddled
Yeah.
me too. I wondered if they meant
You,
a DoorDash driver at first or something. I don't know.
I
What
mean, but
what
then
is a
they'd be
temporary?
employed by DoorDash, wouldn't they? I mean, they wouldn't really be employed by the
Yeah, they
Texas
wouldn't
Roadhouse properly, or I mean,
yeah,
so to
they
speak.
wouldn't be like a staple there. They would be in and out constantly. Was he a
Yeah,
delivery
they wouldn't even
driver?
call them. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're fine. I don't think Texas Roadhouse has delivery drivers, but you know, it's just don't know, something's off with me, in my opinion, on that.
I would have just called him a food runner that didn't work. He was a former employee, like a food runner, someone who would just like run the go orders or, you know? I just think that's
Right.
odd.
I
I
do
see.
too. I
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was just agreeing. Go ahead, Kiki, please.
I see Show Poodles is saying restaurants hire temps for busy holidays, Thanksgiving through Valentine's. Could that be it? But this was around what? Valentine's. No, it was
February
after
25th.
Valentine's.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have been a holiday. I mean, he could have possibly been a temp employee. Maybe was he underage and in school, having to go back to school?
Could be, or temporary because someone may have been on maternity leave. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Maybe a part-time worker. Pebbles is saying in the chat, maybe part-time worker, maybe someone who
Part-time, yeah.
started and then left, because there's a lot of turnover in the restaurants.
Yeah, like I could definitely see that or hiring extra help for the holidays, but yeah, if it's February 25th, I mean that's 2 weeks after the big rush for Valentine's, which I agree Valentine's is probably I mean any restaurant you work in is busy on Valentine's, because you can't get into many places if you don't have reservation and whatnot. And some restaurants don't do reservations either. Um, Oddly enough, I mean, so I don't know if they do reservations there or not,
I
or
did
if they can
speak to a
forecast
local.
busy.
I did speak to a local about that who said you're allowed to call ahead of time and get
Mhm.
yourself on the list. So the fact
Yeah.
that
Oh,
they pulled in and walked right in, because I thought that was odd. Why weren't they waiting more? And
Mhm.
I was
mm,
told that at that particular restaurant, you can call and get on the list prior to arriving.
nice.
You can also have an app on your phone because we've done it before, and I've done another live on that. It was you can do an app and you can do call head sitting from your phone. They actually tell you if you call the Roadhouse to go to the app and get on the waiting list.
Maybe
Oh,
that's
because
what the
they don't
local
have the
was telling me.
buzzers. They didn't. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Nope, I'm done. That I just said
We're
maybe
both
that's what the
excited.
local was referring to.
Well, that's why I thought that was weird too when people were saying that, but then I realized that, yeah, there is like an app that you can get onto, and that way, in order for you to be on the waiting list instead because they don't have like the little buzz, the pagers.
Yes, yes, very true. Very true. So there's a lot of great. So let's go ahead and go over this update real quick, this phone conversation, because it's really important, especially some of the things that the Texas Roadhouse employee speaks of observing. So this is Dog the Bounty Hunter at Night in One World. Okay. And it is from in late November 2024, Dwayne Dog Chapman established contact with a confidential source identified as blank, the blank of blank corporate. So Texas Roadhouse corporate. Now, in coordination with blank material relevant to the disappearance of Sebastian Wayne Drake Ryan in order to clear of any potential leads. In my opinion, that's saying acting in coordination with, I would assume, the father. We're guessing when things are blacked out because we have to use context as well in order to clear any individuals, I would think, of any potential leads. What do you all think? Am I kind of spot on there a little bit? Filling in the
Yeah, I think so. Filling in the blanks, I
okay.
would I would say that, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I
If
would
I
think
have
so
any
also.
different theories you guys have of what's behind the blanks, you just speak right up, okay? Number
Thank you,
3,
Jay.
course, reported that several alarming indicators in footage had drawn the attention of blank and multiple staff members. I think that's really important. Why would an investigator, law enforcement, look at the footage and nothing draw their attention as alarming, but it would employees?
Well, and looking at the video footage from outside, everyone was alarmed by whatever transpired. And I'm guessing they're speaking of the incident outside where Green Hoodie and Katie are by the car, um,
I'm
or
assuming
by
that
her
too.
vehicle. Yeah. So I
Hmm.
mean, in that case, yeah, we could see that everybody stopped what they were doing and they turned around and looked, in that direction. You know, of course, it's all up to perception, but they all looked in that direction, and from what I saw.
Yes, and in that behavior analysis that we went over, it said that they were analyzing person of interest A, person of interest B, and C, and spoke of the extended glance one of the employees gave over that way because it's something caught their attention. Or they were, that person had a high alert threat assessment needed. They thought that he needed to be interviewed. But something was going on out there that captured people's attention.
Well, and I also want to point out really quick too, that Sebastian like immediately noticed the green hoodie and he kept his gaze on the green hoodie as well. And I just always say he was watching like a hawk, in my opinion.
Absolutely, absolutely, and someone had pointed out that when they were pulling out, he wasn't looking forward, he was looking to his left, whether he was looking at KP or others.
I agree. I
I had
agree.
not noticed that, looking in the window, he's not looking forward, he's looking to the left again, towards whatever was going on that way, and he could have been looking at his mother, though. So,
I
no
noticed
no
something today too from a old video that I had played, and I forget the name of the channel, but it like came out right after the Texas Roadhouse footage came out. And she actually spoke and said when they pull in, that Sebastian kind of opens his door like, "Hey, mom, can I get out or not?" Like he wasn't knowing allegedly what to do. So I'm not sure
Hmm,
what was going on with that. That drew my attention. I never paid attention to that.
I have not either. I'll have to go back and watch that. I swear we've watched it so many times and there's always something more to see, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So on November 25th, 2024, so and so received dozens of still, I'm sure photos or something from the footage, corporate blank at Hendersonville, Tennessee, Texas Roadhouse on February 25th, 2024. So really what I think that says is they received dozens of still images from the surveillance from Texas Roadhouse corporate depicting Sebastian at the Hendersonville, Texas Roadhouse. November 26th, 3:19 p.m. Eastern, because remember let me see how many questions they had submitted. They had submitted questions on November 26th, and then they follow up on November 26th, excuse me, we're right there. They submitted 4 questions for verification, and that was at 13 p.m. Eastern time. At night, submitted a set of questions to blank based on the surveillance media provided. One, whether the blank wearing blank who was an employee. Number 2, whether additional footage existed of the interior, I believe, of the restaurant, and whether additional footage could be existed of a table occupied by Anne. I'm curious about that one. Are you all? They
Definitely.
requested additional footage of a certain table occupied by Anne, and it doesn't. So if they say Anne, the next word's a vowel. um, but I'm trying to figure out so that's interesting to me. So a specific table was requested to be able to see the footage.
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah. Then on November 29th, 5:24 p.m. Eastern, and I'm not looking at the chat, so if I need to stop for chat, will you all let me know?
Will do. Will do.
Thank you.
Sure will, Jay. Sure thing.
Thank you. November 29th at 5:24 p.m. Eastern time, they prepared a follow-up list of requests and relayed for probably the Roadhouse and relayed them through, we don't know, their contacts. Number 7, the request sought review and release of additional surveillance footage tied to the evening of February 25th, 2024 Hendersonville incident, which is the last place Sebastian was seen publicly. And we can see there are 6 questions. Now, if we go back to the first questions, I believe what they're talking about, they're trying to identify an employee here. Okay. And that it says whether the wearing. So I'm wondering if they're trying to differentiate if green hoodie was an employee, black hoodie was an employee, that kind of thing.
That's what I'm gathering from it too. Like they're just trying to figure out, who we're looking at in the footage and how they relate to, what's happening that night or if they work there, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Same. Number 8, Dog would personally raise these requests, ensuring the inquiries were advanced. So just making sure if it came, probably Dog being the person he is, the celebrity is, the well-known, is the one who personally raised the request with his connections, etc. You guys ready? Okay, this is the conversation that occurred, I guess it was on December 3rd, excuse me, I said 4th, in regards to Sebastian. Dog the bounty hunter, are you there? Texas Roadhouse says, I'm here. Dog says, you there? And someone says, yeah, I'm here. Dog the bounty hunter says, okay, go ahead. Now, this is the Joint Cyber Task Force, which is Dog, and at night, it's their group, their Joint Cyber Task Force. So you'll see some letters like H and stuff, and I'll point it out to you. That is just the Joint Cyber Task Force also commenting. Dog the bounty hunter says, and you can call me Dog. Texas Roadhouse says, let me enlarge this for you all. Is that better? Texas Roadhouse says, we're getting blown up by so-and-so right now. Now, I want you to listen to this because we've discussed this in our lives. We're getting blown up by so-and-so right now. Blank call blank. I haven't returned call yet.
Wow, that's really interesting. I think they might be referring to Katie if I'm mistaken. I apologize, but I do think so.
That's exactly what I was thinking. KP
Yeah.
and maybe her PI, who was also trying
Perhaps.
to get footage, perhaps, in my opinion, alleged. We're not accusing anyone. We are giving our
Right.
opinions. We are more than allowed to have them. So, and then it says someone, oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just agreeing. I just said, yes, that's right. I mean, because it does seem, especially fitting the timeline of events.
Yes, because we've all seen the footage, so we kind of, and we know things that have occurred, so they kind of make sense in here. And then it said, someone says, crazy. Blank wants you to admit something blank didn't admit. So blank claims a clean trail. I find that really interesting that it's being discussed that someone wants someone to admit something in order to have a clean trail.
Mm.
Interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Dog says, who is this? And put someone in quotes. And then someone explained who it was, and Dog goes, okay. Then another person says, but blank is full of crap as far as that. I'm sorry. I just think that's so funny.
Yeah, that's the general consensus too. I mean,
Yeah.
I've
So
heard
I
that a
know
lot.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly. We know
At least you kept it G-rated.
Yeah. But I know who I think is full of crap, so I can put my name behind there or who I think's name goes behind there, but we don't know for sure. Oh, some other updates are coming out right now too. And then Texas Roadhouse says, isn't blank also the blank who initially said blank? Now, this is the Joint Task Force right here. You've got your HRVFRTF. So basically the term is that's their Joint Cyber Task Force. No different. And then Texas Roadhouse says, okay, someone who they don't want to know the name because this is for sensitivity, things they don't want out there, says, right, different. And then Texas Roadhouse says, here's blank want to do. probably saying, here's what we want to do. The task force says, that's fine. Get that today. Dog the bounty hunter says, okay, blank altogether, we're going to get, and they start listing the things they're going to gather. They're working together, they're collaborating, which you would hope many would be doing together to find this young man. And then Texas Roadhouse says, maybe not, but blank might pull some strings. Blank may be the individual they're talking about who's basically running in there wanting to see the footage. And they're saying they might pull some strings. The task force says, why does blank want it? Blank was there. That's weird. Sorry if I sound mean. What do you think about that? Even people everyone thinks it's weird because why do you wait a year, right, to want it? Texas Roadhouse says, who gives a blank if blank gets it? It's not going to help blank. It'll just show more evidence that blank got on blank's side. Texas Roadhouse employee says, who gives a blank if blank gets it? It's not going to help. Now I'll say her, but I'm just guessing. It'll just show more evidence that blank got on blank's side. What do you think that means? What's your take on that, ladies? It just shows more evidence that blank got on blank's side.
It looks like to me, in my opinion, there was a second person in there.
In where?
In the Texas Roadhouse at that time. Or
Oh,
on camera. That's
oh,
what it looks like to me.
I
interesting.
agree. It's yeah, it does appear that way to me as well, Kiki. Like maybe they're saying, it's more evidence that a certain person was there.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think that. That does click, you all. Interesting. And Dog says, we get it. Blank got that 100%, and there's a blank taking a blank. The task force then says, which is bad because blank gave blank to police. Blank took it, and the last photo blank took. Now think about who was sitting at the booth taking secret photos. And the last photo blank took was blank, Sebastian at a blank, not at blank. So the blank took at blank aren't on blank. Now, here's my opinion of that. What I think this task force individual is saying is, well, it's bad because a photo was given to police. It wasn't the last photo. A photo was taken of Sebastian at the Roadhouse, not the last photo was not taken at Costco or BJ's or anywhere else. And the last photos taken at the table aren't on the flyer. What do you all think of that?
I definitely think that that matches up with what we've seen, because we all thought that the picture where they're both smiling really big and Katie's hair is straightened and, they're sitting on the same side of the booth, well, that was pushed off as, and stamped by TBI as, the Texas Roadhouse. You could see the background looks like the Texas Roadhouse, so we all assumed in the beginning that that was from that night, but then we see the actual footage and it's Sebastian in a black Grogu t-shirt and jeans, just like Katie had described him in. So,
Or could they also mean that the last photo taken wasn't at, yeah, Costco or what have you, but the photo was no longer on the phone?
oh yeah.
Yes, instead of being aren't on the phone flyer, it could be aren't on the phones. Oh, really
Yeah,
good
like it was
perspective.
erased. Like it was erased, right, Kiki? Oh my gosh, Jay.
Yes,
Oh
That's
my
ma'am.
a
gosh.
really good perspective. I hadn't
And
thought
also
about
people
that.
are asking too, Jay, in chat. They're asking, where's the footage from behind Sebastian? There's a blind spot at the corner with parking spots there. And Seclusion says, yeah, wait, lady, where's the footage behind Sebastian? There's a blind spot with the other parking lot on the side. And see, I would love to know that too, where that footage is. If we could
They would
get,
have cameras to cover all parking areas for Texas Roadhouse. Well, you know what? We will know end of October, won't we? Because we'll
right.
be
They sure
there
will.
for our own eyes, ladies.
Yes. I mean,
That
because
is a great
obviously
point.
that's a point of interest for me too.
Yes,
It
that's a
is.
great point. Good point, Seclusion Works. Thank you for getting us to think about that.
Yeah. Yeah, really, really amazing thought because I mean, without us having all of the perspective, it's going to be hard to make a clear assessment of the situation.
Right. And I also wonder, were there cameras facing KP also, not just the back of her? Are there cameras that face her at that booth, or is there just one set of cameras giving us the view we have?
No, no. When I done the live on the camera views, they're all throughout the restaurant. I'm talking several, in my opinion. There's even, and I don't know how true this is, but if you go on TikTok, the bulb that is above the table itself, some are saying that it is black because it's meant to deter light from your eyes from being so bright. Another one says, no, that's a camera so that they can see what you're eating. So Texas Roadhouse can send you data on deals of what kind of food that you like. Like they'll
Really?
send you, yeah, they'll send you like, that's where all the data, if you read their policies, they collect data from your phones and from the tablets at the table to geofence and say, hey, they attend this Texas Roadhouse often, and this is what they eat by even getting the receipts. And so they send you 10% off of such and such.
Oh, I don't know if I like that.
I know you need to
I know,
read the
isn't that amazing?
policies. It is insane. If you read the policies on their website, it is insane the data. And that's why I said there's no way on God's green earth that they do not have some kind of digital data, in my opinion, allegedly, on anyone that comes in there.
Well,
Interesting.
because they're trying to, market for the next time or, get people to come back and return business. And, from a marketing standpoint, it's very smart. But, from a true crime standpoint, that would leave, a digital footprint inevitably.
Correct. Well, and he, I was going to be snarky, but well, maybe I will be. So, in other words, they were sending Kate salmon and asparagus sales because that's
I
what she
wish we
said he
knew.
was first eating.
Yeah, I wish
Or
we knew exactly what he was eating. We've debated that several times. My
Well,
goodness.
it's sure not salmon and asparagus.
I
Yeah,
am
here's me, Jay.
literally,
What does pasta bowl look like from, I'm Googling it. What does a pasta bowl look like at Texas Roadhouse? Sorry, go ahead.
I'm literally going to go to a Texas Roadhouse soon. I've been saying I am to just see if I'm going to ask the waitress, is this a camera above my table? But on TikTok, people are blowing it up saying that they're being filmed above their table. And I was like, well, how convenient. If that's true, it could not be true. I mean, rumors fly. But there are, if you go look at that live, Jay, there's multiple cameras. There's like one in the waiting area, one at the front door. There's one at the front door outside. There's one in between the to go window and the front door. There's one above the to go window, and then several inside. Several.
Interesting. Wow. I'll have to look into that a little bit more. Well, when I'm there, especially. Milky Way Girl says, all right, so they're tracking us in Roadhouse, but I have to tell them every time to bring me more bread.
That's such a good point.
Isn't that great? Seclusion works. We're praying with you, my friend. We're here
Yes.
praying too. So
But no,
Texas
you're that
Roadhouse.
is absolutely right though, because but look at how much and Katie paid her bill using that little platform too. So
Yes, that's boom right there because they would have a digital trail of what they
Oh,
ate, what time they left, what time they got there. And with it being that busy, I'm sorry, but if you have to use the app for seating, call ahead, then they would have that also. When did she place the seating for on the app? If you know what I
She
mean.
she walked right in and sat down, didn't she? So she had to have done
Hmm.
that, in my
Oh yeah.
yes.
opinion.
Yep.
That's why I asked one of the locals, how does it work there? Because I was like, why are other people waiting around outside and they just enter? And that's when I found out you can get your name on a list before you arrive. So, and Town Chat Cafe asks, Crime Time Buzz, didn't Canine Jules confirm he was eating a salad that night of the 25th? I think she mentioned something like that. And KP was allegedly taking his pick because he was eating it with dressing on it, allegedly. What I was told was yes, I did hear that Town Chat Cafe, but I also heard she was taking a pic for CP to show him he finished his meal. I have a huge issue with that. Here's my issue. CP's level of control and CA over Sebastian, my gosh, give your child a break from it when he's out of town. Don't give him power when he's away. What's he going to do if he didn't finish his meal, right?
I agree with that 100%, and I also know that Chris Proudfoot himself was the one that said Sebastian, or excuse me, Katie sent me a picture of Sebastian to make sure he was eating all his food or to show that he ate all of his food. One of the
And
two,
why
but
is that
he
any
admitted
effect?
that.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, no, I was done, but I just said he did admit that himself. That wasn't anybody else saying that, but that was firsthand from him. Said, yeah, Katie sent me that picture in order for me to make sure that Sebastian ate his whole plate or ate his food or, to show him, like you said.
And why
That
is
it
she
just
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. I'm
Nope,
sorry.
you.
It just blows my mind that anybody could have that much control. I have children and it's just so weird. Like kids are going to eat. I understand when you worry about if someone's underweight or I have a child that's very picky and I try to get her to eat, but there's no way to force it down them. And why would you I'm sorry, but all that is so weird to me. If he's out of town, you're taking pictures of I mean, that's like prison to me, in my opinion.
I agree. Give the
I
child a
agree.
break from the stress when the I won't call a name, when the individual is out of town. She knew there had been reports to the home. She knew what Sebastian was living under. There was no reason to continue that while he's out of town, giving him his fingers in his life while he is not there. There was a reason he was not there. Whispering Wind says she thinks it was to show if bruises were gone. Very interesting. And then Lady
I
Roses
agree.
says that could be it too. That's just heartbreaking. Lady Roses said, did anyone find out who that guy was sitting and staring, intimidating Sebastian while he was eating at Texas Roadhouse? Someone asked that guy look JW as that guy looked familiar, maybe through one of the shadow footage or something, but JW. What is JW? Oh, just wondering. Thank you. Um, I have tried to get an identification on him. I know Jen Coffendaffer, former FBI, had mentioned early on when she was watching the footage, she was shocked that someone was staring at him while he ate. It was shocking to me too. And yes, where you were saying, just wondering, is that guy look familiar maybe through one of the shadow footage? I have someone looking at images also who possibly thinks that person may be in the images, but we have not gotten to a finality on that. It's concerning.
Just a thought. If someone's going to take pictures and force a child pretty much to eat, this is alleged, in my opinion, not blaming anyone because we weren't there, but could there possibly been something in the food?
That's interesting too. Someone thought maybe what is a possibility of something having been dropped in his food? They thought he had touched the plate, but she had touched the bread. But someone also brought up that they often put medicine in bread for their children so they don't have to taste it. So I don't know the answer to that. But it's
Yeah.
possible, right? Because everything that we don't think, I think, is possible because of all the stuff that's been coming out. Not honest, not transparent, not accurate.
Yeah, and I heard the same thing too about the maybe there was some medications put into the food. That's the one time I can think of that Katie was, when she was undoing the roll, that would have been maybe a time where she could have done that. So yeah, that's interesting too.
Correct. And
Another
no, go ahead.
another individual that I was watching on my live one night was a young man with a young woman 2 booths over. When Sebastian walks to the bathroom, he follows to the bathroom, but he goes into the family bathroom and he comes out after Sebastian comes out and sits down right as Sebastian's sitting down or right after.
Is that the young man with the dark hair?
Yes,
Yes, I've been kind of watching him too. Is he sitting at the booth with a lady in a pink shirt?
I think so, yes.
I was looking there too. I was looking there too, and I intend to keep going back and looking at that because that looked a little sus to me as well. Could be,
Yeah.
it could be just to give a little bit of a disclaimer. As often as we've looked at the Roadhouse, it could be like we're looking at things that aren't there, but there are things that are obviously there.
Hey, ladies, I'll have to get right back to you. I've got to get a little one to sleep and then I'll be back, okay?
Okay, absolutely.
Sorry.
Sounds good,
In a bit.
Kiki.
Family
Sorry,
first.
I'll be back.
No worries. And Diane said, I drove by the Texas Roadhouse today after a doctor's appointment. I'm so excited you're planning to come to the Pig Fest. Yes, yes. I'm so excited to meet you. We all are. I believe Lady Freedom, you're trying to get there as well, right?
Yes, yes. I'm really excited because I think it'd be a really good time to just show solidarity and just let people know, hey, we're still worried about what's going on with Sebastian, even though you don't want us to talk about it or, um, raise this type of awareness. We're still able to do that through wearing T-shirts and just being there to support and um, just coming of a place from a place of love and community too. So
Absolutely. Unity for Sebastian and the community. We have a lot of people from the locals who come into our lives and they're concerned and some of them are scared. So
I agree.
it would really be good to meet all of you and let we're here, we're united. We're in this together till we bring him home because there aren't sides. There shouldn't be sides. It's one road that leads to Sebastian, and that's what we all should be concerned about.
Well, and I agree. And I do. It breaks my heart when I hear Seth say, "Well, it's not about me; it's about Sebastian." But if Katie was standing out there, I would stand with her too. So to me, it doesn't make a difference. It's who is still being Sebastian's voice and trying to get him. Ultimately, we need to find him. He's out there somewhere.
Correct. Kids don't just vanish poof from the face of the earth. Someone
No, they
vanished
don't.
or something happened. And I've always said all along, something went down and the vanishing is the cover up. If that makes sense. Something happened, and to make it look this much like he vanished without any evidence, I believe that's the cover up, and I call it the vanishing. That came
Yeah,
after.
I agree with that.
That
Yeah.
came after whatever happened was a big cover up, in my opinion, regardless of whom. Oh, sorry, I just hit my knee. Regardless of whom is responsible. And Primrose says, in my opinion, there's definitely some reason that KP allegedly went to Texas Roadhouse and made a scene about that footage being released. I can't believe that any innocent parent would act that way, in my honest opinion. Yeah, and to make a scene in front of local when your child is missing and put more eyes on you, allegedly, in my opinion, to where you have to be asked to leave.
Bingo,
That's shocking.
Primrose, and I agree too, Jay. And another thing is too, is that it's unbelievable to me that Katie was trying to make it out, to Seth and putting her phone in his face, and that's what he said. Look, 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 Sebastian's happy. But then we look at that Texas Roadhouse footage, and we could all, no matter who we are, see that Sebastian wasn't happy, Katie wasn't very happy. And so that's why she ran up there, in my opinion.
I agree. And we've all seen pictures of Sebastian's beautiful smile, but we didn't see that beautiful smile at the Texas Roadhouse.
I mean, Jay, I think that that smile is the reason why all of us are here and so adamant about finding him, because and that goes for anybody I've ever handed a flyer to or showed on my phone. They just fall in love with him.
Yes, I lost my shirt when I was traveling, moving, but the last time I wore it when I was in a grocery store, I believe I was, someone walked up to me and said, "Has he been found? Is he still missing?" And I said, "No, he hasn't been
Oh,
found." And I said, "Will you please follow the case, share his story, learn his story?" And he said, "I'm absolutely going to do that as soon as I get home." So the shirt do advertise.
yes,
That's why it's so
exactly.
wonderful to always see Seth wearing one. It's a
Well,
walking
and
billboard.
that's a it's a walking billboard, and it just has everything right there, and the cutest smile you would ever want to see. And so and that's the thing that's so hard to believe, that we don't have more people. I mean, what are they hiding is always what I'm wondering, even if I'm thinking logically, because I know that that kind of sounds a little bit conspiracy driven, but at the end of the day, there's something that they're hiding in this case. I mean, obviously, there are a lot of things wrong, especially when you have a press release, and you haven't heard anything from anyone, and they say he was 14 when he went missing. I mean, everyone has pointed that out.
Yes, and you know what really got to me, and I mentioned it in my lives, is the fact that Brandon Carter quoted her as saying bang instead of loud noise or thud. And we talked about this yesterday and the day before. That was alarming because to me, okay, if you watch TV and you ever mute your television and someone hits the ground, the words on your TV will say thud, right? Body hitting a ground, a wall, whatever. It'll say thud. But a
Hmm.
bang is a very different perception. A bang to me is a nug nug shot, a
I
nug shot.
agree. I mean, it's kind of scary because we heard noise first. It was a noise. And then when Nancy Grace was asking what kind of noise, Katie said it was a thud. That was her interpretation of what she heard. And so, when she first told Smiley that it was a noise, we all just kind of thought, excuse me, that maybe he was in his bedroom and he was, messing around. She said that that was common for him to do that, that sometimes he would be, kind of stirring in his room, right? So I thought of that as the noise. Then we hear it's a thud. And with a bang, like you said, I mean, it's just, it keeps getting worse, right? From a thud to a
Right,
bang now.
right. And a bang is alarming description. And that was a quote from Brandon Carter, quoting Katie. So bang takes me to a whole nother place hearing that. That's just alarming. And Scotty Dahati said he wasn't very happy at the bowling alley either, which is also a contradiction to what CP said. He was happy. Everyone saw the footage. He was having a good weekend. And they member claimed he was at the bowling alley with other individuals. It wasn't just he and Katie. And that they got there. There were tournaments going on, so they couldn't bowl. So what did they say they did? Played in the arcade. Now we hear from an update yesterday, it was a 10-minute stop to the bowling alley. 10 minutes, my friends. And that Sebastian looked visibly startled and kind of hiding behind his mother. I want to know what he was hiding behind and who he was startled by. Who or what? But they will
I
be
would love to
releasing that
know.
footage. They're going to be releasing that footage. So we will see that once they have that ready for release. So hit those notification
Fantastic.
bells for all of us because we'll all be showing that.
Yes,
So,
absolutely, Jay. We have to go over these, little bits that we get. We have to analyze it, just like, it was amazing when, you know, the mob crew put out, Katie putting an earbud in, little things like that. We need all of our eyes, all of our ears, all of our perception to see what's going on. There's going to be things that some of us would miss that maybe someone that's very detail oriented wouldn't. I mean, it's just
mhm.
we need each other.
I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. And there was something I was just thinking about what we were talking about, and I lost my train of thought because I'm looking at all the amazing comments. Um, but yes, I totally agree. If we work together, because we all don't see everything, we all see things differently, and we all have different perspectives on what we see. And it doesn't mean one of us is right because we don't know. It means we're all critically thinking and analyzing. And
Well,
LAX,
that's it.
go ahead.
Oh no, I was just agreeing. That's it. That's all we can do, really, and analyze it again. you know.
Absolutely. And red LAX to Boston says lock the PFs up. There is enough reasonable doubt they did it in their opinion. I think there are ways that could have been absolutely. I think charges could have been served in many different situations. There could have been CA charges served, neglect charges in my opinion, misleading an investigation in my opinion, and I say that because so many different narratives are out there. Not all of them can be the truth.
I agree. I mean, and it's going to be, eye-opening to see this footage. I think it's just the fact that we hear there was a 10-minute stop only, I think is something to cause us to pause, especially because we were led to believe that Katie, had gone there with Sebastian. They realized that there isn't, any room to bowl on the lanes, right? Because it's all taken up by league. And then they decided to play, arcade games. But if they were only there for 10 minutes, where is all of that other time accounted for?
Exactly. And how about this? Why, when you're asked what happened, do you rewind 24 hours? Do you know what I mean?
Great
You don't
question.
need to go back the
Yes.
morning before. We're talking about, I mean, I would have taken, we got home from dinner, he went to bed, I tucked him in, but not rewinding all the way to spaghetti pancakes. That's so interesting, in my opinion, why she needed to build a 24-hour Sunday fun day. But now we saw Texas Roadhouse didn't look fun. Now we're hearing, well, according to Seth, we've always heard he seemed uncomfortable and unhappy, but now we're hearing it was a 10-minute stop. He was startled. So where is the fun that you had? It wasn't made up. The one we see at the Texas Roadhouse, you're not interacting and having a good time together.
Well, and another thing too is that he's looking startled. If he is in fact looking startled in that 10-minute frame of time, or the footage that we're about to witness, then who was the last one with him? Again, we point to that question, and I'm sorry, but if it's the Proud Feet and the Foot Clan that we witnessed Sebastian being tortured, in my opinion, harassed and bullied at his birthday party, then that doesn't make me feel great about how much of a fun day it was, right?
Right.
Oh boy. Oh
Especially
boy.
if Melissa was there because of the way she speaks to him, allegedly, in my opinion.
Oh, Melissa is very much a bully, and I wonder if she was one of the people specifically, Sebastian was looking up, according to Seth, how to deal with bullies, and I think she may have been, one of his bullies, which breaks my heart because you think of how many kids, go through that at school, but
Absolutely.
to
To have
deal
to
with it
go
from
through
an
it at home.
aunt.
Right. The
Yeah.
way she spoke to him at his birthday, and it was his birthday. And he was just having a good time trying to get the game, win the game. You need this many points. Don't worry about it. She'll do. I'm paraphrasing. Don't worry about it. Well, it's his birthday. It's his fun. It's his day.
Well, and
It's
she
just
also, I agree with you, Jay. She wasn't even taking into account Sebastian's personality either, because it seems like he was just really trying to say, okay, this is how many more we need to win, and he was computing and figuring that out in his brain. In my opinion, he wasn't bossing the other player around. He was saying, okay, we got to get this much, rooting her, in terms of being kind of like a
absolutely.
cheerleader, you know.
Absolutely. I agree with you. He was just getting into the game. He wasn't bullying her. He wasn't being rude. He was just like, here's what we need. And she just went at him, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, she did, and then also she was filming his reaction with Katie. Katie, he was going to Katie, or she was talking with him about something, and here's Melissa filming. I mean, to me, that's very cruel, in my opinion, and behavior from an adult. I couldn't believe, I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, there's a lot that, in my opinion, she has said since the case came out. Some of the things has just been like about getting in the vehicle and riding with someone to work and then getting out. There's things there that, sometimes there's a little truth in some of those things. You just don't know. But the rest of it seems nonsense, right?
Oh,
But
I
she just
agree, but
doesn't.
then,
Go ahead,
oh, sorry.
please.
Go ahead, Jay. Well, I was just gonna
No,
again
you.
point to, like, this 10-minute thing where they only stop at the bowling alley for 10 minutes. Did they play like the claw game where you try to get the stuffed animal? I mean, what did they do while they're there? I'm so intrigued to know. But otherwise, that really kind of messes things up. They made breakfast. They went to go pick up the niece, and it sounds like they were with the Foot Clan all day.
Mm-hmm. But then what
you know,
happened at the time? What happened? When were they with them all day? Because if they weren't at the bowling alley, they may have all been at BJ's together. And I wonder if there's footage of that too. How was Sebastian feeling? And if MP, I'll call her, was there, I can assume he would be uncomfortable, in my opinion, because she's not friendly to him, in my opinion.
I'm just wondering if maybe they only went to the bowling alley just to say they went to the bowling alley, and then didn't realize that anybody was gonna, leak it out that that was only a 10-minute deal, and maybe they were back meeting Melissa somewhere, or I don't know how far. Do you know how far away the friend lives where they picked up their niece Esther?
Ooh, um, I do not. I do
Because I
not.
don't either, but I was just curious. And
I might have it in my notes, but off the top of my head, I do not. So I can look at my notes for you and let you know.
thank you. I mean, I'm just wondering if something, because that is a major lapse in the day, and it completely ruins any timeline that we thought we knew. Like, okay, they left from BJ's, they brought the snacks home, and then they decided to go out to the bowling alley. But if they only spent 10 minutes there, that leaves open whatever they were seen leaving the bowling alley until they arrived at the Texas Roadhouse.
Correct. And she said they went right from the bowling alley to the Texas Roadhouse.
That's what she said. So I'm
Mm.
curious to know, like, what time, or if did they just stop in for the 10 minutes and then go straight to the Roadhouse, too. That's a great point. Yeah, they could have just done that too.
Did they
Um,
stop in there to get on camera?
I definitely think it was to stay on camera. And I
Mhm.
know that was kind of said recently about Seth being at his job all night on camera just to be on camera, but I think they're looking at the wrong people to be on camera just to be on camera. I think Katie was definitely doing, I mean, I think that's like you said with the fun day. I think that was the whole idea, was to be seen.
Mhm. To show we have a good time, we have a good relationship, and look at the things we do. Another thing is, And we've talked about the law of normal behavior, which is admissible in court, and they look at your normal behavior and compare it when a crime might have occurred if you were acting normally. So what I would love to know is, did they rewind for, well, I would have to say, I'm assuming not based on my opinion of how the investigation has gone, but did they rewind 3 weeks and see how many other Sundays they went out for Sunday Fun Day that he was home with KP and not Seth's? How many other times did they do a big old Sunday Fun Day?
That's a
Because
great question.
if they didn't, that's not normal. Just like turning off the porch lights isn't normal, because after Sebastian went missing and people are passing by, there's porch lights on.
Every single time I've witnessed someone pass by their house at night, they had the front porch light on.
Mm-hmm.
Every
Same.
time. Because I do look out for that, more so than if they're parked there, sure that, I mean, I guess that's important to know, like, their whereabouts, but but more so I'm looking at the house, like you said. I mean, what does it look like at night? How well lit is it? Have they added any light? Which, I know it was really speculated on that the bulbs where you would have like the halogen motion censored bulbs out there, those were taken out and then put back in after Sebastian went missing.
Yes, and or CP had said in one thing, because he was talking about someone approaching the door and she didn't even approach to ring the doorbell. Oh, well, she wouldn't have, because we don't have a doorbell. And then he says in the same interview, they were updating their system. Well, if you're updating a system, you
Mm.
have a system. You're adding to it. You're improving it. Right?
That's my understanding, Jay. And I mean, I've kind of said that, I think, before in a chat, or maybe even on the panel or something, but I've said, that very thing. I mean, that if you're updating your system, it's the same existing system. You're just, doing whatever computerized updates are available, right? Like an iPhone update, or,
Maybe adding a camera, right? And what
or
Mini
you might
Panther
be
says,
adding.
yeah, adding a camera.
Yes, yes, and that could be, and see, and that's just like when, somebody asked Chris, "Well, did you guys ever go on a vacation since Sebastian went missing?" And they say no. Well, a vacation is up to, whoever's answering the question. It's more so, you can play semantics when you ask somebody that question. Did they consider it a vacation? Well, maybe not, but everybody else might think of it that way.
Yeah, someone's perception of what a vacation is. That's a great point, because those semantics is how you can say, well, we didn't think it was a vacation. How about the fact that the step grandparents left 4 days after he went missing for Alaska because it was a planned business trip? If you're a grandparent, it's a very traumatic thing, very serious when a child goes missing. Would you leave your son or would you stay and help? I would stay and help. Why would both of you have to go?
Well, and they're both militarily trained in things like search and rescue, and, what happened to No Man Left Behind when you have a young man, arguably, a child. And I look at him as a child. I'm sure you do too, Jay. So I mean, it's like, you have a child out there. I've never had any sense of urgency from Katie. I understand that law enforcement will say, "Listen, mom, stick back at the house," but that at a certain point, law enforcement's not telling Katie and Chris they can't search.
Of course not. And here's why. CP said, and it was on some panel, he was talking in April, that the reason and April was 3 months after, the reason they weren't searching is law enforcement wanted them to be able to get a hold of them. And I'm thinking, well, you're out eating ice cream. Well, you're all these places. Your phone's in your pocket and they can get a hold of you. So put on the boots, pull up the big boy pants, and go search.
I don't see why they wouldn't want. I mean, and especially with Chris being the control freak that we've kind of witnessed him to be. Why is he not wanting to, with his expertise and all of his knowledge, be out there? I wonder. It makes me wonder that, because especially with his personality as strong as it is, um for us not to be seeing that, it's bizarre, that we don't see him out there like, no, I got this, I know everything about searching. Well, because he knows everything about every other subject, other than when it comes to Sebastian. That's when it's, hush hush, and let's not talk about that, in my
That's
opinion.
a great point. That is a really good point because he does like to control the situation. We have a comment from Town Chat. Jay at Crime Time Buzz. What was CP saying about the directions of car on Long Hollow Pike? Did he ever mention Center Point Road? Are you talking about in that one call with another creator, Town Chat? I'll have to go back and listen. I did not listen to that whole thing. Did you, Lady Freedom?
I did, and I've really studied that, because of some of those statements were very unnerving to me. Um, Long Hollow Pike, he was talking about that it connects, and brings you over to I-65, I believe. But he said that the license plate readers weren't working in one direction or the other. But then one of my chatters said, well, the I-65 goes north and south and not east and west. Well, it was a major red flag, but even more so confusing. But you have Chris Prodfoot saying, I'm a native to this area and I've lived here my whole life, but he doesn't know which way I-65 runs.
Hmm. Well, then how about the fact that he might be a native, but when you talk to the other locals, they didn't know exactly what license plate readers weren't working. Why did he?
Well, who would know that? Like, I have to
That's my
quote Seth
point.
on
Yeah.
that. Like, who would know? You're so right. Yeah, who would know that except for someone that's trying to evade them or find out more information of what's on them. But Chris isn't worried about the information that was on there, because he's saying that somebody could have got on the highway and hauled ass the other way and never been caught on anything, according to him.
Yeah. And Lake Town Chat Cafe says when he mentions all the cameras and that all 76 cars were accounted for, I want to say something right there. I know it's been said all cars are accounted for. Remember they said they belong in the neighborhood. Okay. If they were there, they
Hmm.
belong. Okay. Well, there's a couple of cars in the shadows. I'm not accusing, I'm not saying 100, but the cars that we see do belong to possibly neighbors. Okay. So they could be accounted for. Yes. They could belong in the neighborhood. Yes. But that doesn't mean they weren't out at 3 a.m. involved, in my opinion. And the fact that it came from the command post that a sedan pulled up at 3:10 a.m. or 3:06. Sources from the
Right.
command post telling sources. So things were going on there. And if that car was there, it doesn't, what that tells me is if they've accounted for them and they're all, where they belonged, then they belong in the neighborhood. Let's start looking at the neighborhood, in my opinion, in some places. But set all
Right. And
70,
you would think.
go ahead.
Oh, no, Jay, I was just gonna say, and you would think if they didn't know where Sebastian was, that they would want everybody looked at, but they're not worried about it, you know, because they
Mhm.
must know.
That's what makes me worry. Yes. And what person knows where all the license plate readers are in the cameras? The other neighbors don't know that. The other locals don't know that. Why does he? Did he study it allegedly? Did he check into it allegedly? And
He
Donna
would
B
have
says,
had to. Well, he said that the police told him is what he said, that, again, he was bragging about how the police just give him all of the information, which, I mean, I know he does brag, but he is being, in my opinion, somewhat truthful with that, saying that the police officers are giving him information, because otherwise, how would he know that? If they didn't say,
correct.
hey, there was 76 cars, I mean, so that's what he is alleging, that information came from law enforcement.
Mm. And why
It's
would
a
there be
really good
70?
interview, Jay. Well, they don't want to call it an interview. What it was it was the McCoys trying to get Chris and Katie to speak with them, and so they got Chris on the phone after some text message exchanges, and they were just trying to say, "Hey, can we get a meeting with you and Katie face to face?" And they kept pushing them off and haven't given them an answer yet, to my knowledge. I don't know if something changed now, but last I checked. And it's amazing to me because Deception Detective said the same thing. He said, I would love to talk to the parents, and he's yet to be able to speak with Chris and Katie. And that's all the McCoys wanted, was to talk to them face to face.
I did hear, Lady Freedom, that the McCoys were out searching this weekend there while CP was dressed up as sheriff playing games.
To
Instead of
my knowledge,
joining,
that is true. Yes. And
instead of
they
joining
were.
the search.
Yes, ma'am. And then also, I mean, to not get back with them and to do something like that is showing that there's no, again, they're not interested. And it's sad because, I mean, they were in town, so it could have been, he could have done both, I guess. I would have been, a little bit okay with what he did, I guess, if he would have been trying. But in my opinion, he didn't even, I mean, it's not like they're trying to meet with anybody. It's terrible.
Well, yeah, and if look at how many missing children's families, what they would do to get Dog the Bounty Hunter to reach out to them and say, "Can I help?" I mean,
Oh, I
so many
agree.
families, and then they don't ever contact us again. You contact law enforcement. I mean, they didn't want his help even. Why do you not want help? Because, in my opinion, you don't need to search or have help finding something where you know where it is.
I agree. And I also think that, Chris is showing that, they only do deal with the trauma channels. And, that's, they're self-proclaimed. So I don't feel like I'm, being mean to them at all when I say that. But, that's who he's going to.
Yes. Why not go to, yeah, you're right. That says a lot in itself too. It does say a lot in itself. And we have one more. Diane had said what step grandparents, even if your step grandparents would leave 4 days after your step grandchild goes missing. I agree. I agree. I don't care if the trip is planned. It didn't need both of you, or you know, either of you. In that, any business where something is going on, if you pick up the phone and you say, my child is missing, my grandson's missing, I won't be there, they would say, oh my gosh, let us know if there's anything we can do, in my opinion. Just like CP saying he almost lost his job. Well, that was very early on, he said that. That's why he had to go get the RV. Why in the world, within hours of your child going missing, would you think you're going to lose your job and have to go get your RV? Why would they?
Well,
Why
and
would
I might just go ahead and excuse myself for the week or something. If I didn't know what was going on, I might just go ahead and grab my RV and head home. But look, he said he was like on the job, I think, what, till like 11:30, Jay, was it? Or is
Yeah,
that's what's been alleged, right?
yeah, around 11.
Yeah, or
And
okay, 11.
because
Thank you.
his
Yeah, see, so
apparently, yeah, he was not, his behavior wasn't safe for the crane or the others around, allegedly.
that's what I heard too. And so if that's the case, I mean, he wasn't even showing urgency then. So he basically was, and I caught it in another interview. I believe it was Smiley's, again, but he said that he was on the phone with the police all day on and off. Or maybe it was the first interview they did. But either way,
Duchess.
they Duchess, thank you. Yes.
Mhm.
He
I
goes, I
started
was on the
listening to
phone
that
on
one.
and off with law enforcement all day. So he was pulling strings behind the scenes and not trying to get home anytime soon, in my opinion.
He was also riding around with law enforcement, he admits. Now, why would the
Well,
stepdad be riding around and not the father?
I thought maybe they were trying to gauge some of his behaviors, but then now looking back, I just wonder if they were working in tandem with him or something. I mean, it's very odd.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, another theory from Town Chat Cafe is KP's friend Elle could have been staying in an RV nearby with her own RV, in my opinion. Yes, we have talked about that a little bit. And then Deborah Bennett says, and KP's bedroom light turns on at 3 a.m. when she's sound asleep, allegedly. We saw those satellite images. Okay, I'm going to keep reading on this. Great conversations, though.
Yes, thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Lady Freedom. There's so much to talk about. I mean, we could go on for hours, but all our phone conversations have never gone below 3.
I know. No, it's good to go back and forth and kind of remind each other too, because it is a lot of information.
It sure is. Well, then, Texas Roadhouse, the last thing we read. Are you ready for me to continue, Lady Freedom?
Oh yes. Oh yes. This is so interesting.
The last thing we read was the Joint Cyber Task Force saying, which is bad because blank gave blank to police, blank took it, and the last photo blank took was blank Sebastian at a blank, not at blank. So I think what they're saying here is the photo she gave was not the last photo. So the blank took at the blank aren't on blank. But I think that's really interesting. Some of Kiki's points on that, right?
Oh,
So
definitely. And it is open to interpretation, so I love hearing other perspectives too.
absolutely. None of us know we're right. None of us know we're wrong. We're just all trying to figure it out, right? None of us, we're not investigators. So we're just all putting our heads together and it's many different perspectives. And sometimes disagreeing is how we learn, grow, and figure things out.
Oh, I agree.
So then Texas Roadhouse employee responds with blank going to have to do forensics on that blank. Blank was on the blank talking. Blank of blank can see that. So they're going to have to do forensics on that. Blank was on the blank. Oh, I'm sorry. Blank was on the blank taking, I think it says photos of Sebastian. You can see that. Okay, that's just my guess. That's not, we're guessing behind the redactions. Then the task force says, I wonder if blank took that blank or another blank because there are no blanks of Sebastian on the blank they took. That's interesting. That's why blank's calling. Remember, someone's calling for footage. So let's go back. I wonder if blank took that blank or another blank because there are no blanks of Sebastian on the blank they took. That's interesting. That's why blank's calling. Do you think she was calling for footage to see if it was captured that she had snapped photos of Sebastian that she did not provide to police?
And maybe they couldn't find him on the phone anymore. Maybe they were deleted off of the device.
Ah, yes. But that's what that sounds like, right?
Yeah, I
Interesting.
mean, it is. Mhm.
Hmm. Wow. And Texas Roadhouse says, so I wonder if that's why they raced in there because she needed to see. One of the reasons is she may have needed to see if they captured her taking pictures of Sebastian that never surfaced to law enforcement. And then Texas Roadhouse says, well, you can see blank on the video. And then the task force says, blank almost looks like blanks on drugs if you look closely. I will say that louder. 3 times. Blank almost looks like blanks on drugs if you look closely. We know who they're looking closely at here. Okay. They're right here referring to the photos being taken. So someone thinks an individual looks like they were on drugs. Dog the bounty hunter says, when did blank give the blank up? Blank. The next day? And the task force, and I'm thinking they're asking about photos. I don't know. How do you take that, lady?
Or maybe
Freedom.
the footage, maybe or maybe they're because they're speculating on when Katie came up to ask for the footage.
Oh, yeah. The next day. And then the task force says The blank goes to blank house. Blank runs up and shows blank a blank. He's happy. Now we know this whole story. Not at the blank,
Seth. Mhm.
not at the blank, at a blank on Saturday, and it was a Costco. Then blank said blank needed the last, I'm assuming, photo for the poster. So Seth goes to the house, is what I'm assuming this says. KP runs up, shows, remember, sticks that phone in his face and says, look, he's happy. And it was
Mhm.
not from the Texas Roadhouse. And we've heard that already. It was from Costco on Saturday. Then blank said blank needed the last, I'm assuming, photo for the poster. But the last photo was not given. It was a photo from Saturday. On the poster, he looks like a 10-year-old kid. That's not him. Blank never released the blank. I'm assuming this says KP never released the photo she took, and blank KP gave blank to blank old. And KP gave photos to police that were old, maybe, because we know those were young photos of him. Does that
Oh,
jive
yeah.
with you? Does that all jive with
Ye
you, Lady Freedom?
I think so. I mean, I definitely think they're talking about the footage, the photos she's taking, the fact that she's caught on camera taking the photos. I think it's all, um, about that, and about, why she was giving this older photo or even one from the day before when she should have been giving, the one. I mean, just the way I would be thinking, I'd want to give the most recent photo. And that's, to my knowledge, what law enforcement always asks for, not a photo from a year ago at the same restaurant, in my opinion.
Yes. That's
And the
very,
fact that
that's
TBI gave their stamp of approval gives me no faith in that organization that they would do that. Whoever did that and stamped that photo of Katie and Sebastian on the same side of the booth, however long it was, I don't care if it was 3 weeks before, whoever did that should be in, they should be in trouble, at least reprimanded and put it in their file that they did that, in my opinion.
do you think,
I just
yeah.
want to let you guys know I'm back finally. Sorry.
Hey,
Hey, do you
Hey.
think she was trying to wait, what did you just say? I'm sorry, Lady Freedom. What were you just saying?
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, and I do. I get a little bit fired up about this because I don't expect this behavior from law enforcement at all. But if they're giving a photo of Sebastian from, even 3 weeks before and passing it off with their stamp of approval, the TBI put their stamp on it, you know, to me that's not okay. And whoever did that should be in trouble for doing that because what it was is it was misleading. It was an old photo of Sebastian, from my understanding, possibly even a year before. But even if it was 2 weeks before, they should have never passed that photo off as being Sebastian that night. But, yet they put their stamp of approval on it. TBI
I
logo
agree.
right there.
I agree with you on that. That's very true. And you know what? Do you think KP was trying to pass that photo off as the one that occurred on February 25th?
I think so.
The
If they
happy
did that, but
family
but
sitting
then
on
why
the
are
same booth smiling.
but they're not even they're not upset with her about it, obviously, because they're still trying to, push off the story that she's this, concerned mom and, took them out for a day of fun, and they're still pushing that narrative. But if it was me, I would be upset with her for not giving me the photo, at least that she took at the table, or just the
and
one
giving
that
an
came,
old and giving an old photo because originally what did we all think? That was from the night because it was
I
at
thought
Texas Roadhouse and they were both smiling. We thought that was from the night. So I think someone was trying to pull a fast one, in my opinion. And you're right, TBI should have caught that.
yeah,
And
because
Diane says,
I mean, even what he was wearing that night was, similar, but he was wearing a Grogu t-shirt like Katie described. And she said that he was wearing a Grogu t-shirt and jeans. And in the photo that they passed off to begin with, he was wearing a black shirt, but not with Grogu. It was a different logo of whoever.
And it doesn't take someone who's been through years of investigative training to catch something like that, in my opinion.
No, and actually all of everything about Sebastian's appearance, if you compare those two photos, are completely different. I mean, he looks older. He was, and they even said he was going through, the changes when, puberty and everything like that. So, I mean, to give an old photo was really a disservice because Sebastian's haircut was different. His hair was a little darker. Um, all of that.
I agree. It just screams. It's just dishonest, and it's not helpful when your child's missing. So I think you have to ask, why aren't you being helpful, in my opinion? And Diane, though, she's local. She says, "Oh, good one at Town Chat. Center Point Road intersects with Long Hollow Pike closer to Kellen Lane than New Shackle Island Road intersection." By the way, I just started paying attention to the cameras.
That's
I,
funny. Now people are gonna know.
that is funny. And you're paying attention to them now. So I'm sure a lot of the locals are. And then Gypsy asked, "Hi, Gypsy. Buzz, did they Buzz, they did forensics on the phone she turned in, and that would have shown that she didn't have the photos from Texas Roadhouse, but forensic would have shown deletions. She turned in another phone." Interesting. That's a good theory, Gypsy.
Good point.
That is a good point. That is a good point. And how about CP saying it wasn't a dash cam and FBI coming out and saying it was a dash cam? So they just totally discredited what he was saying. Ouch. Sorry. Keep hitting my knee on my desk. Lots of great comments, y'all. So they say on the poster, he looks like a 10-year-old kid. That's not him. Blank never released the blank, took and gave to blank old. Texas Roadhouse says, "You can watch the video. Blank's confident. Blank took blank sitting across from blank." I'm sure they're saying they're confident. Katie took photos sitting across from Sebastian. That's what I think it says. And
Hmm.
Texas Roadhouse continues saying another thing, and this is something I want us to discuss the 4.5 minutes. Another thing, he went to the bathroom for a good 4 to 4.5 minutes as I counted. If you give blank the two videos blank has outside and inside, then blank says, yeah, blank and blank have two blanks. So what I think they're talking about here is the length of time in the bathroom. Now, some kids do take a lot of time, long time in the bathroom, but my concern is the last bathroom visit he has in public that that before he's never seen again, could he have encountered someone in that bathroom? Could someone have been waiting for him? And Kiki,
That's
you
what
mentioned that.
that's what I was wondering because at first, and I had asked the chat, and some said that the guy that followed Sebastian and went to a different restroom, they said, "Oh, it's a family bathroom," because I was thinking that area right there. I thought, did they go into the women's bathroom because the women's was located right there at the to go area is what I thought. But they said the family bathroom is there and the women's is along the wall with the men's. So unless we know someone that has been there, we don't know which bathroom it is unless it's just hearsay.
It came out in one of the first phone conversation that we went over. This is the second one, that the green hoodie went into the family bathroom and through to the women's bathroom, they believe.
Okay, if that's the same bathroom, then again, excuse me, the boy or young man with the dark hair went into the same area.
Mm, okay. We are
Interesting. I think I missed that part. I'd have to go look back and look and wow.
Yeah, because if you look, it kind of turns towards the to go area from the inside and then turns left immediately. And I thought that was the women's restroom. But someone said, no, no, that's family restroom. So is the family restroom, do they have another door to the women's? Or how does that work? There would be a wall, of course, right? I mean,
In the first transcript, it said something like, I don't know. We'll have to go back and read that.
Yeah, I'm
We'll have to go
sorry.
back.
I'm sorry I
No,
had to
you're
go
right.
for a little while.
No, we need to point out those details. I appreciate your eye for detail and research. I truly do.
Thank you.
So
Thank
that
you.
is something we need to go back and check, because I was watching that, and as Sebastian comes out, someone else comes out of the men's bathroom. I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to go back to that footage and watch it again.
And
So that's a
that
good
guy
point.
is kind of a heavy set guy with dark hair, and he sits down at a table toward the back. But then you have the dark haired young man that is right, probably just a few seconds behind Sebastian or in front. I think he's behind, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I watched it. But
Mhm.
then he goes and sits down, and him and the lady at the table are talking.
Hmm.
Yes, yes. And I do know the heavy set man went over and sat, you're right, over in the bathroom area where those tables are, right?
Yes, yes,
Closest to the bathroom, yes, because I tracked
yes.
him when he came out of the bathroom. Absolutely. We all have studied this a lot, haven't we?
Oh, yeah. And the thing
Yeah.
is, I am not a detective. I know there's been people out there, you're not a detective. And I know that. We're here for speculation, opinions, right? Just trying
Uh-huh.
to piece the things together. But my mom actually was in the court system for 32 years. She's retired. And I've learned a lot just, being around different people. I've learned a lot about law enforcement and such.
Well, that's good to know. So you're a good source for us, my friend. Hi, Frank. Good to see you. Everyone in the chat, it's so good that you're here. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate you being here for this. We're all bringing awareness to Sebastian. I hope you've hit the thumbs up and have shared it. I truly do. So we can get more information out there, and people can see creators uniting for Sebastian. So we're going to keep reading this. It's a little shocking, isn't it? Dog says, after we get blank it to blank, I want to call this an on cell and tell blank, you ain't blank, you ain't nothing. I'm coming back to blank mono mono. What does mono mono mean? Let
Like
me
man
look
to
that up.
man.
Oh, duh. Okay. That makes sense. So who do you think he's talking to there?
My best guess.
I'm asking you
I
because
think
I'm
my
not going to say
opinion's
it.
too biased to make a comment. I'm gonna plead the fifth, Jay.
I'll say Edgar in my opinion.
There you go. You ain't nothing. I'm coming back. So I think they just get tired of the BS, to be honest. And then the task force says the only reason he's got a blank. Ooh. Well, my imagination went somewhere, but I'm not saying that out loud. Texas
And
Roadhouse says,
I just do want to point out too, Jay, really quick, is that it says in California, and I think that could also point us in the right direction of
whom they're
mono.
speaking of.
Yes,
Oh, yes, yes, because we know who's licensed in California
yes,
and lives in
allegedly.
California. Yes,
Oh,
allegedly.
wow. So I was wrong. Sorry guys.
No, that's okay. We're all speculating. I had done my video earlier and had pointed out that that person's from here, and they explained that he goes 15 days at a time to keep, and what I think it's saying is the license active. So Texas Roadhouse says, if you want it, I don't know if it's accurate, blanks in California. And then the task force says, yeah, blank lives in blank, and he extends probably his license 15 days at a time in other states, is what I'm assuming it's saying for social media. Dog and blank. Then the task force is continuing by saying 15 days at a time. It's in blank for social media. Dog and blank trying to find out what happened, find Sebastian, and move on to the next case. This blank wants. Texas Roadhouse asks them, do you have a leak somewhere with the video? Dog says, not on our end, or I'm assuming it says not on our end. Texas Roadhouse says, even blank at the restaurant had no clue blank clips. What blank put on the blank? The task, so they're asking, is there any leak? And the task force says no. Texas Roadhouse said, just wanted to make sure so-and-so don't have a leak somewhere. And they say, no, no, no. Dog the Bounty Hunter says, we're positive we do not. Now, we know there were some leaks out of law enforcement in the beginning from a detective sharing things allegedly with his girlfriend, but apparently that had been taken care of. But that was out of Sumner County Sheriff's Office. But I don't know if that's what this is about. So Dog says, no, we're positive we do not. We have blank. Is that the name? And Texas Roadhouse says, yep. Then Dog says, we're working on a little girl out of blank, the same blank to find blank's daughter. Then this blank crony said online, the parents are liars, they kidnapped blank. This blank is scum. Why is blank in on that? And I don't know what they're talking about here. Do you guys?
No, that really confuses me.
Me too. So maybe he's giving another case.
A little girl. How long ago was it that they added Summer? Could they possibly be talking about Summer?
That's what
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
wondering.
Yes, I bet they could have, because they have been, even before they started reporting to us on Summer, they had been looking into Summer, I believe.
Okay.
So we're
Thank you, Jay,
working on,
because I wasn't sure.
remember they had put out an update once saying we've been watching her case for a while, and now
I
they were
do.
going to bring her in under their wing as far as the blip boards and things.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so maybe you're right. Great job. Okay.
Thanks, Jay. I'm not for sure, but I'm thinking because, a lot of the same cronies have been involved in both cases and, online at
Yeah.
least that I know of.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then Texas Roadhouse says, blank question. It's almost a year. Blank haven't reached out. Now blank or whatever, either to blank the video or look at it. Interesting that blank only now is caring about it. Who didn't care about the footage until a year later? I'm assuming they're talking about KP, but they could also be talking about the person from California. Allegedly, I believe, the PI. Dog says it's the blank that want it. The blank. Blank wants that video so bad because there's a weak link.
Oh,
Now
that's
this,
interesting.
yeah. What's the weak link? There's something there that they needed to see was on there, in my opinion. But what do they mean by a weak link? Now, this page is actually pretty important, in my opinion, because if you recall, the FBI came out saying green hoodie was a rumor, and that green hoodie had been identified by several employees as a regular frequent customer. So this is going to go on, or that's where this is going to head to. I know somebody knows something, says Dog. That's why the reward is up to 200,000, which, by the way, if you're new to the case, it is now up to 500,000, 50,000 from the FBI, 500,000 from At Night Dog and their contributors. I know somebody knows something. That's why the reward is up to 200,000. Somebody other than blank knows something. And then Texas Roadhouse says about the sweatshirt. I was confused the other day. There's a blank with a blank who works for us. I think what they're saying there is there's an employee who had a sweatshirt on that works for us, blank a blank. But the one blank's talking about is the blank who comes between the vehicles. That is green hoodie. They're now talking about green hoodie. As soon as blank goes out, blank crosses between vehicles. I do not know who that is, nor do we have any video of where blank comes in. Blank. So they do not know who that is far different than numerous employees recognizing the person as a frequent customer. That makes me wonder, Did they interview Green Hoodie? And I hate to say that because they came out so quickly. Did they take word from someone else? Possibly the same person who may have given them word that the glasses weren't Sebastian's, KP, in my opinion. Is that what's going on? Because these Texas Roadhouse employee here is saying they don't know who it is. So it's not a regular customer, my friends. And now I'm worried if they even did an actual interview. Because I do recall someone saying they wouldn't show Seth the person's face or something, or show him the interview. Allegedly, in my opinion. I can't recall exactly because it's been so long. As soon as blank goes out, blank crossed between the vehicles. I do not know who that is, nor do we have any video of where blank comes in. Blank pulls in after blank parks. And this blank gets out of the passenger side. Nobody on our video gets out of the driver's side. And I had heard that from local sources that they said that someone who related to the Texas Roadhouse said there was a car that sat in the parking lot for well over an hour and someone didn't get out and just sat there. And they said that is highly unusual for their establishment. The only time the blank gets out of the passenger side is when blank and blank, the door coming out. That's the only time blank gets out. And blank, you see frame by frame that blank handed blank something. So there was a handoff. Yeah, the task force says blank had about a 40-second quick exchange. So it sounds like I'm concerned Green Hoodie wasn't even interviewed. I'm also concerned, and I hate to say this, but I mean, if you're not investigating thoroughly, couldn't someone who was Green Hoodie pass the sweatshirt to someone else to go be interviewed? Because they said, remember, law enforcement or the FBI post said Green Hoodie came to them. Well, yeah, I can, anyone, the criminal, the person, the kidnapper, whatever we want to say, could have passed me a Green Hoodie and I could have gone to Sumner County and said it was me with a little wig on.
Yeah, it's all weird, and they cleared them way too fast, in my opinion. They were in a scramble to do that because we were all speculating. But, what's really weird is that we've all been speculating on everybody. I mean, even Seth has been speculated on, everyone's been speculated on. So, why were they so quick to clear the Green Hoodie, and now we're seeing this correspondence?
And why wouldn't they show the interview to Seth? Apparently it was a FaceTime, is what I heard. Why wouldn't they show it? And what
Well,
kind of an interview technique is that? Go ahead, Kiki.
sorry, my question is too, I know law enforcement has ways of finding people on camera, different things, but with so many people there, how did they actually find them? I'm really concerned, in my opinion, that nobody was interviewed, to be honest.
Me too. I am as well.
I am as well, Kiki. Great point. I am as well.
Because why wouldn't they just show it to the father? Maybe because it didn't exist, in my opinion.
My
Or it
opinion,
didn't
you
match,
know,
or it
oh, go
didn't
ahead,
look like
lady.
the person.
Sorry.
No, go,
I'm
Kiki.
sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
My opinion, too, when they don't show it to the father, he has every right to see it just like KP and CP saw it. So why not show it all together to them, regardless, in my opinion?
Absolutely, that's not right. And actually, if you read about conduct, there shouldn't be things like that where unless one person is more of a suspect than the other. But I think that was flipped a little bit, but he should have been shown that to give him peace of mind. But maybe they did interview and the person didn't match the description, what you see on footage of GH. Maybe it wasn't GH. Maybe it was, who knows? Who knows? Maybe there
Yeah.
was no interview. But
But if
at this
nobody's cleared, they need to show it to everyone. And just for peace of mind, like you said, Jay, just for peace of mind, if they're showing it to one, they need to show it to all. Not us
point,
particularly, but the family, the parents.
right. And then it goes on to say, I agree 100%. It's been a lot of bias. It seems a lot of relationships, just like the pig fest. I have to ask the B's and the P's if you can pass out flyers. Never said Seth Rogers. The
Never said Seth.
Proudfoots and the Bauer Sox are not blood related to Sebastian. So why in the world would they be the ones you would ask? You would ask the
Well, they won't even put
biological.
they don't even have pictures of him prior to all this on their Facebook or anything, that associates with Sebastian, which is very odd in my opinion.
And I'm going to say something. They were out shopping for reptiles this weekend, and there's a picture of them looking at reptiles and apparently purchased one for $500. It made it to Facebook. Well, here's my theory, or not a theory. I'm just going to say it. In that picture where they were captured looking at a reptile, that reptile got more attention from them than Sebastian has in 18 months, in my opinion.
Mm.
And I'm just
Well
going to say
said.
it. I'm just going to say it. So then the task force
Okay.
says, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just said how sad. That's so sad.
Isn't that sad? And you know what else is sad? Sebastian's snakes were gotten rid of. His snake, and autistic children use animals for therapy. His
Mhm.
snake was given away. His cat was given away. Everything he needed to attach. He didn't have friends. Those were his friends and they were given away. And you have the audacity to go buy a lizard or a snake or whatever the heck you bought? How
I
dare you?
agree. And then also, like, what dare I ask how much, what kind of a lizard costs $500? I'm just curious.
I don't know. We had a bearded dragon my son did growing up, and it was not $500. So I don't know.
Lady, you could probably go grab one in the backyard or something, right?
I was gonna say I'll sell him the lizard for 500. It might take me a minute to get him wrangled up, but for
Gina
500,
It's
H.
boy.
it just
Yes,
blows
seriously,
my mind though that
Same.
$500. I wonder if Mama Socks paid for it.
I
Is
don't
it
know.
somebody's birthday? Well, Katie's birthday just passed. Maybe he's got a birthday coming up. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Gina H said, Gina H said Fox News had photos that weren't even Sebastian. Oh no. The most recently, Gina H. That is terrible. Oh, how come on. Did you all see
Was it
that?
was it the ones that they gave when Lawrence interviewed them from Fox News? I think it was like really old pictures with like Faith, and it was like everybody was dressed up, but there were a couple that I questioned if that was even Sebastian in there.
Wow. When was that a recent news article, Lady Freedom?
It No, well, I think she's referring to the older one. It was when they went on like initially, and I call it the Just for Men interview with Chris because he looks like he's really put like some Just for Men in his beard. It's really dark. And he was on Fox News, and so was Katie. It looked like he was in a camper and she was in a room. I don't know
Oh, that's
what
right.
the
Okay, I do remember that interview. I'll have to go back and look at that. And then
Yeah,
Gina
his
H
beard is
says,
real dark.
oh, I'll have to go back and look at that. Gina H said she rushed back with SF because of Green Hoodie, in my opinion. Agreed. I think so too. And also, I think based on what we're reading right now, to see if anyone saw her taking photos of Sebastian that she failed to present to law enforcement when they asked for the last photo. Boom.
Yeah, that's a great point too, Gina. Really great point.
Yeah, it is, Gina. It's a really good point. Hi, Frank. Hello, everyone here. Thank you for being here, Sebastian's Army. Okie dokes. So then they say, yeah, they had about a 40-second quick exchange. And the task force says Sebastian stopped and stared at blank as if he recognized blank. The blank waved at Sebastian. He did not wave back, which, and I believe they're saying Sebastian's father, Seth, and I'm just guessing, says means because it's giving insight into Sebastian. And I truly believe Seth is the one who has insight into Sebastian because he spent time with him. He builds memories with him. He enjoys, loves being with him, interacts with him. So he would know how Sebastian would react. So it says the blank waved at Sebastian. He didn't wave back, which blank says means he didn't like the blank. He's more outgoing than other kids on the spectrum, so he would have waved. Blank, it had to be someone he didn't like or someone who's hurt him. And that's really sad. So whoever Green Hoodie is someone allegedly that gives us another clue Sebastian didn't like or someone who may have hurt him. Texas Roadhouse says, if you don't mind getting busy and blank. And then it said on calling, listen, I go to, and then someone says, listen, I go to blank with Candace Owens. Speaking at blank. So blank and blank have to take it. So I'm going to look up what the Candace Owens reference is. I'm interested in that. And I'll get all back to you if I find anything out. I'm going to research that. And then someone says, okay, I'll get that sorted. So he's going to talk to Candace Owens, speaking at blank. So, and then they'll take something there. I'll have to take it. And then someone says, okay, I'll get the blank sorted. Dog says, as soon as I get a break, blank, get back to you. And then the task force says, do blank, make it blank to blank. So they're making plans to gather things and make it to blank, text you the address and whatever. Blank need that today, or blank is going to be forced to make a call. Okay. And then the task force says, blank, get it today. Blank should have blank under that today. Texas Roadhouse says, blank it to me, email it, whatever we need to do. I'm sure he's saying, I'll let legal hook up. Once legal blesses it, I'll forward you a shared folder of the video, then blank, make the call blank. So they're getting all of the footage. And then the task force, okay, it shouldn't be more than 2 hours, maybe an hour. Going now. Sounds good. Thank you. Task force says bye. Dog says, okay, bye. Texas Roadhouse says bye. And 3 other callers. Caller number 1 says bye, bye. Number 2 says bye all. Number 3 says talk soon. Wow. There's a lot there, right?
Definitely.
I mean,
And it says should be no more than an hour. Is that what that said on the bottom?
Let me go back and look, my friend. Hold on. It said it shouldn't be more than 2 hours that they would, or maybe an hour to get their stuff together. So there's no excuse for law enforcement to not be doing things expeditiously when other people can, in my
Yeah.
Oh,
opinion.
100%, 100%.
Exactly.
I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And I'm going to share this tab instead. And I'd like to go over, anyone in the chat have any questions? If you're in the bushes, thank you for being here. I am just now heading over to the chat to see if there was any questions or comments, and then we'll continue. Deborah Bennett says, yes, there was an exchange. And then when Katie got in her SUV, she took items from her pockets and put them down into her purse. Deborah, did you see that in the footage or hear that from someone? Interesting thought. I just want to know how you know that. She took items from her pockets and put them down into her purse. Interesting. I'm going to have to watch that a little closer.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Also, that
even seem. Oh,
go
sorry, go
ahead.
ahead. No,
Go
go
ahead,
ahead.
lady.
Well, I was gonna just say really quick, I mean, it's like, they're not even really showing any urgency on their end, and they're actually getting people that are willing to talk to them. So it's not like they're struggling to find people to talk or struggling to get people to talk, in my opinion, just from seeing this correspondence.
What I was going to say too was the video that I saw today, the older video that that when it first came out by this creator, and I'll have to go back and find the name. But she also says when they pull up, and I'm probably a little off track, but says that Sebastian opens the door as if he was supposed to get out before they park at the Texas Roadhouse, but also says that it looks like he's placing something in his pocket, allegedly.
Sorry, I was muted. I was talking to muted. If you notice, when Green Hoodie emerges from the car, and I know the clothes are real baggy, it looks like, you know how you have that one pocket in the front of a sweatshirt? It looks like something's been stuffed in there, but it could just be because the clothes are baggy. But it does look, when she surfaces, like something could be stuffed in those pockets, that pocket, in my opinion.
In my opinion, there's a lot in the pockets of Green Hoodie and KP. Definitely.
And the yellow
Wow.
jacket guy had a lot of pockets too, his pants pockets. He had a pouch on because he had a hoodie. He was layered. The jacket that he was wearing had a lot of pockets.
Yeah, there's a lot of places to store things, aren't there? Wow.
Also, have y'all noticed that when it was daylight too? I don't know if you've noticed this, but there was also a video of a lady, and I don't know if this has been debunked or what have you, but there was also a lady behind the white car to the right of Katie's car, and she was on the phone and in a black jacket also. Have y'all seen that footage?
Say that again, Kiki.
There's a lady on a phone with a black jacket or coat on, walking back and forth like she's waiting on the white truck to park.
Yes,
There's more footage. Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
seen that. Yes, and I've also seen the pink lady in the front too, or with the pink shirt on too,
Yes,
Yep.
definitely. And
covering her mouth about the same time Yellow Raincoat turns, puts his back to the vehicle, and covers his mouth.
yes, months ago, I asked Hindsight, actually, before they done the, Voices of Truth, I said, I was in a chat, I think her chat, no, somewhere, and it may have been yours, lady. And I said, I think she's holding her hand up to her mouth. And she was
Hmm.
like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I see that. So, yeah, there's a lot of, and I said, I'd like to have like a comparison video, if Dog and them could do a comparison of at the same time that Katie and Sebastian are inside. Can we compare to outside, side by side, to see if somebody's on their phones at the same time? And I think they did a video, Voices of Truth. I think they did compare that, but I'm not sure.
I believe there was footage released back a while when they were releasing it where they had the inside of the restaurant showing in the left-hand corner while we were watching the outdoors, or vice versa. And we'll have to go back. I'll have to go back through my videos and look for that.
They've done a great job on comparing the people and kind of watching everybody in the restaurant. Yeah, Voices of Truth has or
Absolutely.
Hindsight.
Yeah,
Hmm.
they've been amazing. They have.
They do good work for sure. And we all put if we all put it together, we may crack the case. Who knows? But what's important is that we find Sebastian
We get home
and
home.
then start
Yes.
the path to justice for whoever took
Yes.
him away for this amount of time and stopped his life with his dad, because that is illegal. That is
It really
absolutely.
it just breaks my heart for Seth, but also, um, I have actually been around a lot of children that have been autistic before, just because, you know, we, my husband, pastors, and, just seeing how they are such a blessing. There was one boy that, he just was praising the Lord, going to the altar and everything, and just so cheerful all the time. And my mind goes back to, I feel like that's how Sebastian probably was, cheerful. You know, he probably had his moments. Everybody's not happy all the time, you know, and it just breaks my heart that, I don't know, that he was so, in my opinion, held back from being his own self.
Yes, because when he went to Seth's, remember Seth said the neighbors knew him, the people like at the market they would go to. He was a very social child.
I agree, a big difference. And then Kiki, what did you think about the 10-minute bowling trip, like that they were only at the bowling alley for 10 minutes? Did you hear that part?
I heard that, in my opinion, would you be there just to talk to somebody long enough to leave?
Yeah, I mean, it's all weird to me, right? Like, and two, they usually have bowling league on a specific night. And if they went to the bowling alley often, like it seems like they did, then she would have known. But if they only stopped in there to be on camera for 10 minutes, I'm just wondering, I just want to know your thoughts because, yeah, it's weird. And then did they go to straight to the Texas Roadhouse or did they leave out and go somewhere else before? It just,
Well, KP says they went from the Roadhouse. They left the Roadhouse and just the two of them left together because she's remember said other family members were at Strike and Spare. She said in that PI audio, just the two of them left from the Strike and Spare and went to Texas Roadhouse alone.
oh, see, I
Mm.
thought she said that the two of them left from BJ's. And so I was thinking they went home, put the groceries up, the snacks and stuff, and then left out to the bowling alley after playing games. Like I figured they maybe were there for like an hour or at least half hour, and then they went to dinner. Was
Yes. Now, what I think, I'm not sure, but what I think she said is they went home and then they all met at their house and went to the Strike and Spare. And then she and Sebastian left the Strike and Spare alone and went to dinner. But I could be wrong. I'll have to go back and listen to it. But
okay. Yeah,
regardless,
because
there wasn't family at the Strike and Spare anyway. She went down with it.
And
yeah,
did
if there was
Strike and
family
Spare,
there.
go ahead, lady, sorry.
Oh, no, no, I was just gonna say, yeah, because if there's family there, that makes a difference, right? Because I mean, then they really were with him that whole time.
Yeah,
I
and
want to
then, I
know what
mean,
startled. Oh, go
is
ahead. Sorry.
there, you're fine. I'm sorry, I keep getting an echo. Um,
Me too.
is there camera footage from outside Strike and Spare that we haven't seen?
Well, I don't know, but I do know that we are going to get to see footage from the Strike and Spare when they actually release it, which I am very much looking forward to. Sorry, I wanted to get Sebastian's face up there while we talked.
Oh, you're fine.
You know,
Oh,
Thank you. It's
they're
so
going to
cute.
be releasing footage, and I think that is going to be really pivotal. I I don't want it breaks my heart that he was startled and behind his mother and only there for 10 minutes. It's just the whole thing. Why do you have to make it up? And if your normal behavior is to go out and do things fun on a Sunday fun day when you have him, again, law of normal, why don't you know, as Lady Freedom is alluding to, why didn't you know there were bowling tournaments that day?
And then there's some people in the chat also. Why would you not just go ahead and eat food there at the bowling alley?
Because she wanted to take him to his favorite restaurant, remember? She took
Mm-hmm.
him to his favorite restaurant and fed him his favorite meal of asparagus and salmon. And that sure as heck is not what he's eating.
No.
Mm-mm. No.
Mm-mm.
Because even when I looked up all the bowls and plates that they use and stuff, um, yeah,
The
that's
things
I
we
mean,
do research.
down to that, down to a T, right? I mean, I don't know
Mhm.
what else to do.
Oh, by the way, I just wanted you all to know Sumner County Sheriff's Office is hiring if you're interested.
Oh,
Go
good.
show them your
That
investigative skills.
that's too far away for me. Sorry.
And they only
I
want eligible people. So I'm sure they thought a bunch of people who were interested in the case would go apply, but they only want eligible people, but they are hiring. Now, I'm hoping they're hiring because, well, I'm not going to say it. So, you know
Well,
what
they
I'm
have
thinking.
all of us working for free, basically, because all of the subscribers and everybody that looks into it, they have a lot of free workers here if they, tune in.
I know, right? If you guys are
Absolutely.
in the area and want to go apply, we can give you the address.
Yeah. And that you're right. They've got millions of people investigating, searching, looking, because everyone on the internet is. If they would tune into everything everyone's found and put it together, the case would be solved if they wanted to solve it, in my opinion. And I am hearing rumors, and I don't know if it's true, did indeed. Oh, 1 second. Excuse me. Okay, there's more updates coming out, you guys.
Mm.
Oh,
Something
good.
about. Let me
I was
just
going to
check
do
this
a
real quick.
video about updates, but there's so many that have been coming out, I can't keep up yet. So I'm just waiting for everything to kind of come together. That way I can, make a good video about all, these correspondence, and then also, um, if, some new footage would be great.
Absolutely. Now, one thing I want to tell you is this is an important one. So I'm going to pull this right up before we get to the tender years.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Oh, geez. This came out, what, just a couple minutes ago, maybe? 20 minutes ago. This is going to rock our chat.
Jay,
share it.
Texas Cowgirl says, Jay, will you please read my comment about t-shirts?
I
Just want to let
certainly
you know.
will. I'm coming right there now before I do what I was going to do.
Okay.
T-shirts. Who wants me to read it? Texas?
Texas Cowgirl up 38.
Okay, I'm so far behind in comments. Forgive me, you all. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Hi, the real me too. Good to see you. Thank you for being here to mod. Thank you, YouTubers here. Whispering, Town Chat, Minnie.
If I go blank, guys, my little one may wake up. I don't think she will, but if she does, I'll just mute and I'll come back.
That is just fine. I'm looking for the comment. Do you see it, Kiki?
It was on when it's in green because it's a member's. She's been a member for, let's see,
Oh, here it is.
9 months. There you go. Yeah,
Thank you. Hey,
you're
Jay, has
welcome.
someone volunteered to make y'all t-shirts for the Pig Fest? If not, I'll make them for you all for only the cost of the t-shirts. I'll pay for the shipping and no charge for making them. Oh my goodness, that would be wonderful.
That's
Oh, how
awesome.
sweet.
That
Texas
is so
Cowgirl up.
sweet
That's
of
so
you.
nice.
Texas
Right.
Cowgirl
Aw.
38. That is so kind of you. We were just talking about t-shirts and stuff. That would be wonderful. If you can email me at crimetimebuzz@gmail.com, we can all coordinate with you.
Thank you, Texas Cowgirl.
Thank
That's
you
amazing.
so much. We
I know,
really
right?
appreciate it. Hmm?
And just a little funny, everybody bring your dude wipes with you, okay?
Yeah, bring your dude wipes. Come on.
I found them at Walmart, by the way.
Did you? I know you bought
Oh
them?
yes, they're available at Walmart.
Oh yeah, I have a
No, I did
box
not
of
buy.
them. I really do. I honestly carry them in my car to wipe my dash, or if my kids get anything sticky on their hands, I use them.
That's too
Well, we
funny.
were
Oh my
talking about
goodness.
that yesterday. Lady Freedom and I were talking about that yesterday and kind of saying, let's look into that a little bit because they're the sponsor, right?
Oh
And
yeah,
Texas Cowgirl up 38. Thank you so much. That is so kind of you. Sebastian's Army, you have hearts of gold. And we want to thank you for that.
Yes.
yes.
Truly, truly, truly. And I want to read this update. Proudfoot, this is from At Night Creative Intelligence 20 minutes ago. Proudfoot also had a pair of handcuffs in the at YouTube live nights ago. Did at TBI investigation check those cuffs for DNA? Likely not. Hashtag children first.
Mm,
Wow.
Just the thought of that creeps me out.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, me too. That just gave me chills.
Now, something that I thought of too, Jay, the other day, I Googled new equipment for Sumner County, and
Ooh.
this is going to blow you away. Okay, I just thought out of the box. I'm not accusing anybody, but they have equipment that they got. I think it was December 2023. If I'm not mistaken, I'll have to go back. But it works as like a taser, but it's for people with like mental illness, or they're having side thoughts, you know and they're trying to calm the person down, and so they use it as a taser, and it wraps around their ankles and such and ties them up.
Yeah,
Oh
and
my.
Sheriff Craddock did a demonstration of that
Hmm.
On a
technology.
video? On a
Yes.
video?
Mhm.
Oh
Yes.
my goodness, I'm gonna pull that
Oh
up
yeah.
for our lives.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
thought
kind
it
of
was
makes sense.
interesting.
That's kind of what they had Lori Daybell in court when she was representing herself. They had a taser belt on her.
Mm,
And that way, if she got out of control, they would tase her. And they said it wasn't, what did they say? It wasn't to incapacitate her, it was for pain.
yeah, this was
Oh,
just to contain a person so
wow.
that they don't come at, like, if they were coming at law enforcement. It had two hooks on the end, and I actually done a lot on that too. And it wrapped around, and he was showing how that worked.
Wow. Wow. Well, I'm going to look at that. That's concerning, though, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I think,
very.
hmm. And Jip, SI officer said, upper right-hand corner in the flashlight video is a compressed video that shows events inside that night, faces, actions, in my opinion, allegedly. Yeah, there's a lot to look at in there, in my opinion. And Gypsy said,
I
"Ha, let
agree.
me at it. My husband is a retired police officer. On our way." Hey, I didn't know that, Gypsy. Start tapping into that brain of his. And then Minnie says, side note, on Texas Roadhouse, you can get a cup of chili as a side and upgrade for 99 cents to a bowl, bring it home for the next day's meal. Thank you, Minnie, for letting us know that. And Texas Cowgirl 38, thank you for being a member for 9 months and supporting the channel. And thank you so much for offering about the t-shirts. You are amazing. Thank you. It's good to see all of you. Okay, so that update right there is concerning. I doubt they did check them for DNA, but they should. Absolutely.
Well, and I
And
know you can get handcuffs from different places, but just the fact that he has them is concerning.
yes, absolutely. That would be concerning why handcuffs are there. They should have been checked. And thank you, Texas Cowgirl, for your sweet donation. Much appreciate your generosity. Would you like ladies to start talking about the tender year policy with the FBI?
Yeah, I find that to be really, hopeful. I do.
Would you
Yeah,
like
me
to
too.
introduce that, Lady Freedom or Kiki?
You go ahead, lady.
I actually have it pulled up here, guys. I do. So let me go ahead and pull it in. So it just says the FBI tender years policy is a guideline that allows the FBI to prioritize and potentially assume jurisdiction over missing child cases involving young or particularly vulnerable children, even in the absence of immediate evidence of federal crime like kidnapping or interstate activity. And then it kind of outlines it, um, and kind of goes over some of the criteria that must be met and some of the stipulations, but it is the FBI's tender years policy.
And it is am I interrupting you or did you pause?
Not at all. I was pausing.
Okay. The thing that I find interesting about it is it's for kids 12 and under, but if you are indeed a vulnerable child, okay, let me say that again. If you are indeed kids with developmental disabilities such as autism, which are listed, are the exception to the 12 and under rule. And they can come in even if there is no evidence of a federal crime. They can potentially assume jurisdiction over the missing child case with a young or vulnerable children. Especially
Isn't
if
that
they're at
something?
high risk for harm.
That's awesome. That is
So
awesome.
Lady Freedom is the one who brought this to me, and she said, Jay, he falls under this. He fits this criteria.
Yeah. So why hasn't things moved along, in my opinion?
And with that tender years policy, they do not need to be asked. They can just come in and assume jurisdiction.
Yes, and that's the way the policy reads. You're right, Jay. Like usually it's reserved for children 12 and under, but with Sebastian having the rare chromosome deletion, the pocket of fluid on his brain, and then also the autism diagnosis, I think that those three factors alone should put him as more vulnerable than say you or I that doesn't have those challenges, right?
Absolutely. And it also says if they suspect he's involved, there's a situation of endangerment. He follows all this criteria.
Well, what I never understood too, why didn't FBI get involved? And I know it's because of one signature, allegedly, in my opinion. But, another thing, if we think, there was the Olivia interview with KP and CP, and she literally states something to the effect that she contacted trucking traffickers
Mm,
association because they thought abduction. Well, if they think abduction and he may be over state lines because you don't know where your child would be, why would FBI not come on? Why would they not go to Sumner County as parents and say, let FBI have this?
exactly.
I agree.
I absolutely. And I have
And the
heard
chest
rumors
plate too,
that
guys. He was supposed to be wearing the chest plate as well. So,
oh,
in order to do the corrective, for his, because his bones were growing outwards is the best of my understanding on it, but he was to be wearing that breastplate, as the officer pointed that out too.
so there is a lot of vulnerabilities there that he could definitely be qualifying under this. So it doesn't make sense. But I've also heard rumors that the marshals did offer to assist. And I hate to say this, allegedly, Sumner County told them no. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I'm hearing.
I've heard the same.
And someone wants to know if VA Dynamics wants to know if the handcuffs were pink.
Pink with the fuzzy pink ones. That's why I was saying I don't know. I don't remember seeing those, so maybe I was not paying attention. But
Oh my gosh. And the Real Me Too is sharing some information for those of you who want to be in Hendersonville to support Sebastian and can't go to the Pig Fest or also want to attend. The Real Me Too says we are planning a big event for Sebastian's second anniversary, letting our frustrations be heard, and we'll be asking for FBI to take over the case. We hope all that can come will be there for Sebastian. I will do my best. I'm coming in October, so I'm not sure, but I will do my best. Are you talking about February 25th around there or the 26th? I will do my best, but anyone who can be there, please go be a voice for Sebastian And maybe you all can mention the tender year policy because he does seem to qualify.
And Jay, I do have it written down for February 23rd through the 28th, the demonstration for Sebastian, but I know the 26th is a Thursday, I believe. And of course that's the day we want to be the biggest day for, you know, turnout and stuff like that.
So it will be 5 days from the 23rd to the 28th with the 26th, not the 25th, the 26th, right? Did you
26th,
say
yeah.
26th or 25th?
Well, because that'll be the true, I guess, anniversary of when Sebastian was reported.
Got it. So on the 26th, if you anywhere from the 23rd to the 28th with a big focus on the 26th, if you can be there. That is wonderful that you're planning that. And thank you for doing that. And VA Dynamics wants to know if they were pink and fuzzy.
Oh gosh. Well, and that's Bullhorn Betty, guys, too. She's got that in the works. And I'm gonna make a little flyer for, to kind of share about it too.
That is absolutely, Bullhorn does so much. She really
She
does.
does.
She
She does.
does, she does. And so does
Robin,
the real me too. So does the real me.
yes, I'm not saying anyone else didn't. Hey, Krista 23.
No,
Yes,
I
you
just wanted
all are amazing.
I wanted to shout her out because I do. No, I had that written down to share tonight, and I'm so glad that she said it because I'm just focused on all this information coming in that I'm like kind of,
There's
a
so
little
much, and I'm so glad. Now, Robin
lot.
Woods, thank you for your sweet donation. Just asked if we can show the blip boards at night posted. I didn't even see that they posted them. Did you
Hmm.
guys?
I haven't seen them yet.
I
If
I
they
know,
are
haven't.
posted.
No.
I know the plan is CP in his little outfit is going to be posted on a bulletin board around the FBI field offices.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hope he's proud of himself because he's got that one.
Get all
That's
the
going to be
attention
the
he
one
wants. He's going to get
everybody
all the
sees.
attention he wants.
In my opinion, he got jealous because Seth was getting all the attention.
Yeah, that probably,
I
and
agree,
Sebastian,
Kiki.
and Sebastian. Okay, my friends, here we
And
go.
where did the Nerf, pew pew come into play? Where'd that come from?
Oh, his little water
Oh,
gun.
yeah,
Hmm.
it was not even a super soaker. It was like a
No,
mini.
it looked like a Nerf gun. Nerf, yeah,
Well, I
product
I
remember
don't
line.
super soakers, and he could have got a much cooler one, but that's just my opinion.
Oh,
know. Oh, such a mess. Well, here is one of the
Oh,
bullet boards, and it's giving him the attention he was looking for, in my opinion. And it says, "Still missing, still laughing. Stepdad on TV
ooh.
versus at night," meaning
Oh,
at
I
night,
need this.
running around. So here he is looking sad and grim. Here he is playing with his shirt stuffed. He's making fun. And that's another thing. Sebastian's not around to bully anymore right now. He will be back. So why are we looking for other individuals to bully and make fun of? He's bullying and making fun
Mm.
of a creator. He's making fun of the father. He had a picture of the father up on his Facebook when he was doing this and saying a new sheriff in town. And he's making fun of the sheriff's department, in my opinion, saying they need a new sheriff. Let's see
Oh,
what
that's a
else
good
is.
point, Jay. I didn't even think about the making fun of the sheriff. He is, isn't he? He's kind of making a mockery of the sheriff.
Yes, he's making a mockery, saying there's a new sheriff in town.
somebody
So
needs a leg day too.
somebody needs what?
A leg day at the gym.
Yeah, yeah, you think?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a gym freak.
Well, here,
So,
let me enlarge that for those of you who haven't gotten to see him
okay, I've got to mute because I got
posing
to
as a
laugh for a
sheriff.
second.
That
Oh,
is
this is
funny.
where the handcuffs. Okay, now
There's
I
the
get. Okay, now I got
handcuffs. They're not
it.
pink. They're
Got it.
not fuzzy. They're silver. They look like, regular handcuffs. Let's get some DNA testing on those. Make sure they're just costume, right?
Do we see a pineapple anywhere?
A pineapple.
Upside down
Oh,
pineapple. You not heard of that, Jay?
it's
No.
their jam.
Okay, we'll have to school you on that later, okay?
It's nothing to be shared
Oh
right
boy.
now. I'm
No,
Googling.
no, 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 no.
Oh
Oh
my
boy.
goodness.
I love
Well,
you,
I
Jay.
find it
Sorry.
disrespectful too
No,
because he's wearing a black
I'm, hey,
shirt.
what?
Like Seth wears the black shirt with Sebastian's picture on it, and he's wearing a black shirt,
Pig Fest.
trying to, yeah, with Pigfest on it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like X said, or it said somewhere, I thought it said, he's wearing the shirt from the Pig Fest, his buddy Andy Gilly, allegedly. So, and that's just a heartbreak that we can't pass out
Oh,
flyers. It's just a heartbreak. I'm really disappointed. Panda Bear, I wanted to thank you also for your donation, your super sticker, and Robin as well. Thank you. Is that the only bulletin board they pulled up? But looking sad on TV, and then out playing, dressing up like the sheriff because they need a new sheriff in town. And he's going to be it. Yeah. Let's see how many votes he got, in my opinion.
It is. It is sickening. Like, really so distasteful, I mean, it's
Mhm.
just unreal. Really.
It really is. And then the real me too says CP is just so immature and childish. It's very disturbing to make fun of Seth, who's the only one fighting for Sebastian while they go lizard shopping. Yes. And like I said again, that lizard that they were staring at in that still photo got more attention, in my opinion, than Sebastian has from them in 18 months or more. He is making fun of Seth with the big tummy, and I don't think it's funny. But what's so funny is he can do all that and he can act like that and he can make fun of people and he can mouth off and do all that and bully allegedly, but yet he's scared. He goes and press charges against Bullhorn, who's looking for his son. It makes no sense. How are you afraid of a woman you've never met and saying she might carry a machete? It's just silly those kind of things going on right now. I'm very bothered by it. Look at that difference.
same here.
I'm very bothered by it because that's not right. He had never met her, been in front of her, but said he's afraid of her, and in come the charges. But yet we don't get charges for sea abuse. We don't get charges for misleading. We don't get charges for neglect. We don't get charges for threats. Because here's what's funny. He was worried that Bullhorn was threatening him, right? Look how many people he has threatened Seth since this started. Why has he not had charges for threatening Seth?
Or any of the people he's threatened.
True. If Seth opens his mouth on anything Bobby told him, he's not going to, I promise you, he won't open it again. That's a threat. Why isn't he in that courtroom?
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Let me see
And
if there's
really
any more.
unacceptable. It's so
Absolutely.
wrong. It's so wrong.
It's not fair because it's not fair, if that makes sense. And I'm going to read what goes along with the billboards. Do I have the right thing up? Because I'm not in the chat right now. There you go. I'm going to read what
Billboard
went along.
campaign launches the special sheriff, or excuse me, the sheriff special.
Yeah. It was like Sunday. It was like a gift coming to us on Sunday because I'll tell you what, when someone's stepchild's missing, and you're doing things like that, and in like pretending you're the sheriff and saying a new sheriff's in town and belittling the father, don't think agencies aren't looking at that, especially now that the billboards the billboards are being placed around the areas, right, where law enforcement, FBI, TBI can see it.
I think it's a
He's
genius
making a
idea.
mockery of the investigation too.
Yeah, and a mockery of law enforcement itself.
Yeah.
I agree.
So this is for immediate release today at night private intelligence agency and One World Society Corporation. Billboard campaign launches the sheriff special. I don't know if I'm going to be able to read this.
It's fantastic.
At night, under the direction of One World, has authorized the release of and syndication of a new billboard campaign titled The Sheriff's Special. This campaign was designed to ensure accountability after Mr. Proudfoot mocked the search for missing child Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers on a national stage. The billboards feature the tagline, "Still Missing, Still Laughing," alongside Sebastian's photo and the $500,000 reward information, reminding the public and federal authorities that this case is ongoing and urgent. And it's sad we have to remind federal authorities that too. As he mocks the search, but I'm glad the public knows he's not home, because for so long there was silence that I wonder if many people thought he ran away or he was found. But it's important with all these updates now because people are seeing he's not home. The billboards feature the tagline, "Still Missing, Still Laughing," alongside Sebastian's photo and the $500,000 reward information, reminding the public and federal authorities that this case is ongoing and urgent. As he mocks the search, he will now face the national spotlight. One World has placed these billboards surrounding FBI field offices nationwide to serve as a constant reminder. Sebastian is a human being, not a punchline, said Cynthia Lee, senior representative and ownership liaison for One World. She
I
writes, by
agree with
the
her.
way, she is such a fabulous writer. The way I'm just, every time Cynthia writes something, it is just amazing because she's just dynamic. And I want to read that again because Sebastian is not a punchline. He is a human. As he mocks the search, he's going to get that attention he wants, right? Now he's all over the national field offices, near all the national field offices around, or I'm not saying all. They've placed these billboards around FBI field offices nationwide to serve as a constant reminder Sebastian is a human being, not a punchline. And they did this as he mocks the search. He will now face the national spotlight. I mean, think about people looking at that. If they didn't think anything of him before, in my opinion, they will now, because I don't know one person, not one, who's out mocking a missing child from their family, even if they are a step parent. Most step parents have the common decency, if they don't care about a child, just to keep their mouth shut. The
I've
proof of
never
our
seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it, Jay, and I was trying to come up with one, example of another parent that has done this, and, to call him a step parent, I don't even like I call him stepfoot
I
because
call him dirty foot.
he's not a parent.
Mm-mm, he's
No
not.
other parents do this. They plead, they wish for their kids. They're hurting, and he's not. He is absolutely making a mockery of every person who has worked hard on this case, in my opinion.
And instead of being the kind of man who stands by his wife whose child is missing, he's joking about it. He's making fun of it. And where is she? Standing next to him buying a reptile. She should have
Great
kicked
point.
his ass to the curb. And I don't like to cuss, but this is bringing it out in me. She should have kicked his ass to the curb and said, "You make fun of my kid? Get out." But no, she's standing behind him, looking at a reptile when they took away every animal he had, and animal therapy is essential for kids with autism. They are their friends. They are how they bond when they're not bonding with someone else. They learn, they nurture, they feel them, they take care of them, they learn skills with them. It's just sickening.
Totally.
I, I mean, what was it, like 8 days or 2 weeks? They took off. She took off, followed her man to the job site.
Yeah, the man who
I'm
after the
sorry.
search.
I would have told my husband or what have you. Okay, go ahead, go to work. I'm
Yeah,
right here.
staying here in case my runaway.
Absolutely.
I'm staying here in case my runaway child comes home. Wink, wink.
Mm.
Mm.
Allegedly. The proof artwork for this campaign has been formally approved for public release and is live across billboard networks as of today. Amen. Hallelujah. I wonder how he feels about that. This marks the latest escalation in One World and At Night's rolling release strategy, turning every insult, every obstruction into fuel for visibility and public accountability. For further media inquiries, please contact Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, SWDR-press at atnight.agency. And you can get on their press list by doing that if you want to get the releases as they come out. Sebastian Rogers remains missing. He disappeared from Hendersonville, Tennessee on February 25th, 2024. And if you have real-time sighting or urgent information, call 911, 1-800-CALL-FBI, or 1-800-THE-LOST, which is the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. To submit tips 24/7, call DOG or text him at 844-922-3236. Do you know what the 3236 stands for?
No.
I don't.
FAFO.
Oh. Well, I also want to point out too, Jay, in the research as well, and I don't know, Kiki, if you've seen this too, but there's a fraud department that you can call at, or excuse me, there is a department that deals with if you suspect any type of corruption in a case through National Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
Yes, I saw that. Yes,
Did
I
you,
read it.
really?
yeah.
Yes, I read it the other
Yeah.
day in a live, actually.
Did you?
Oh,
Okay. I was trying to think because I know I've heard that, and I couldn't remember if it was whenever I was looking over the tender years policy.
that's
Yeah.
good
So
to
there's still
know.
kind of some avenues that we could go down, even with, and that's the number they gave was 1-800-THE-LOST.
Yep.
Thank you. I'm writing it down right now. Can anyone report corruption, or is it just like a parent?
No,
Anyone?
it's anyone. It's anonymous also, I think.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. To submit tips 20. Oh, so you can call DOG and or email mostwanted@manhunts.one, and I can assure you they will get right back to you. Tips can remain anonymous. And here is the bulletin board. And they had said, we will be running new sheriff special showcasing Mr. Proudfoot on billboards. As he mocks the search on a national platform, he will receive a national spotlight sponsored by One World. These ads will surround all relevant FBI offices to remind them that Sebastian is a human, not a joke. Wow. And there it is. And you know
And I
that they
hope they
put out
take it seriously because he's not.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, they are taking it seriously because the people that they're tagging on their messages, I think I pointed out to you guys, Elon Musk was on there, and as well as, let me get his name, Mark Wildison is also someone, Wildison is also someone they are copying on the, and it's spelled Wildasin. And he's mentioned, and he is an assistant United States attorney for the Department of Justice. So
Oh,
there's far
fantastic.
reach. And that means someone like that can go in and make arrests, you know. So just.
Great point.
Mm-hmm. So he's tagged on there. Elon Musk is tagged on many of them, Kash Patel. And they also put out that post that they are sending things to oversight committees now. And one of them was Homeland Security, many different large agencies to let them know what is and is not going on in Sebastian's case.
Well, and we know that
Robin,
he hasn't been found. You know,
no,
that's the one glaring issue we have is that he hasn't been found yet, you know?
yeah, he hasn't. And Patricia Prater says, look on the face on him. The evil is showing, in my opinion. And you know what? I shared with everyone when I did a video. And by the way, people were asking me about hype points for that video that I put out about he's got Joe or the last laugh. Yes, you can give hype points to a video, but I don't know if they go under you anonymously or not. That's one answer I do not know yet. But you can give videos hype points to get them out there more to the public. So I appreciate those of you who were giving that video hype points, because him making a mockery of the sheriff, making a mockery of Sebastian, making a mockery of Seth needs to get out there. So thank you for hype pointing that video, you all. I didn't even know what hype points were, you all, when they were asking me. I had to look it up. So,
Yeah, it's a new thing. It's new.
hmm so that's where we're at with the case right now. Is there anything any of you want to? Oh, MS is saying we all need to contact the Oak Ridge boys and have them. We all need to send the Oak Ridge boys a message to mention Sebastian on stage. Yes. And someone did send
Great
me,
idea.
was it either of you who sent me the contact numbers for them?
I know that I posted them in my live stream,
Okay.
but I can get it.
I was sent the Oak Ridge boys and a couple other places where we could contact and let them know what was going on regarding Sebastian's awareness being shut down at the Pig Fest. Probably the largest event, I would have to guess, in Hendersonville. You got the Oak Ridge boys coming. It's a 3-day event, but the owner, who is also the director of Park and Recs at Hendersonville, Andy Gilly, said he had to talk to the Proudfoots and the Brower Sox allegedly, which we saw correspondence. I shared it. Many of us shared it, and it then and was having lunch or a meal with the Proudfoots, and at night posted that they heard that Sebastian was discussed at that table, and then it was said no. So At Night came out and offered $100,000, gave them 1 hour to accept it. They said they would outbid any opposing sponsor, whatever sponsor did not want Sebastian's flyers out there. They offered 100,000 to outbid them. They gave them 1 hour and they didn't respond. Even though they were responding to other people, he was responding to other people with his .gov email saying he didn't know the B's and the P's, the dirty foots and the dirty socks. So,
Wow.
mhm,
I totally forgot about that until you just mentioned it, Jay. I'm glad that you did because, people need to know that. I mean, that is pretty powerful. Um, wow.
conflict, in my opinion. First of all, he owns it. Then he's also the director of Park and Recs, and he's making all these decisions, and yet keeping a child out when so many people are there. And Katie said on whatever, she doesn't do many interviews. I've had people email me and ask me if Sebastian's mother was still living because they had never seen her. Isn't that sad?
Wow.
Isn't that so sad? Is his mom
If they
deceased?
come into the case now, I can understand why they would think that because they just see Seth out there, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, and I have to tell him, "No, she's alive." But it's really sad to receive those because imagine if Sebastian's watching, what he thinks of the lack of his mother's interaction and involvement in his search. You think
Mm.
he's gonna wanna go stay at that house when no one there is searching for him, in my opinion?
Well, she said to keep his name out there, and then, oh, we have to ask permission to hand out flyers.
Yeah, she's so upset so many people didn't
Absolutely.
know. She said, "I'm so upset so many people still don't know about Sebastian," and that was at the 1 year. Well, guess what? When flyers are taken down, people are threatened, things are done to people, and then you don't want them passed out at the probably the biggest event there. Why would you think a lot of people knew? Allegedly, in my opinion.
Exactly. And the thing is that a lot of people haven't followed this case from the very beginning, but they might be following it now and kind of piecing it back together, the way that we even see creators doing that. And I think it's important to do that, but it's also, go back to the beginning and you will find so many, like you said, Jay, so many more interviews with Katie speaking in them, because she's the one that was with Sebastian last, in my opinion.
Well, in my opinion, also, it also shows that, you know, if I had a missing child and, locally, I would go to that director and say, hey, I want his flyer out there. I want people to hand them out. You know, it
Right.
just, mm-mm.
Of course. And first of all, the dirty foots and dirty socks are not blood related to him. There's two people who should have been asked, KP and Seth. And if one of them said yes, it should have gone. There should never have been a no from any parent to ever want to raise awareness for their child. You've heard people ask if she was alive too, Bill? Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting. And that,
Well, and another
imagine.
thing that's it's just sad, like when little kids will, like I've had people who have, shared with me a picture of their kid, like, is this Sebastian, mom? Like these kids are looking for Sebastian too, and they're probably wondering, is anybody going to look for me if I go missing? Would somebody look for me? I mean, just for the children to be thinking that, and that, I've had a lot of moms and grandmas say that their, younger kids are looking for Sebastian, 10, 11, 12, 13. We can't be naive to think these kids don't see the big picture here. So why are we missing it?
That is such a great point, Lady Freedom. Yes. Yes. And the real me
It
too.
just breaks my heart.
It breaks my heart too. And think about all the kids who've been to the vigils and
and
don't see
it's
and do not see and have not seen KP and CP at one single vigil.
and it seems like the
Powerful.
only person to be a good example to Sebastian was Seth, in my opinion, because like I've watched your lives and stuff, and he would take him fishing and do activities that a dad should do. And for somebody to say that they are a dad, in my opinion, show it. Don't do things like this.
Yeah, this is just I would love to see him put on search boots to go search. But no, we got to put on boots and a cowboy hat and be a funny guy. But you know what I said in my video the other day? The one that says the last laugh right after he did this. Do you know why a lot of people joke? It's fear. It's nerves. They're nervous. They're overwhelmed. They're scared. And I think he's getting scared. And if he wasn't a target before of the investigation, he's surely putting himself there now. And if he's going to shame law enforcement, mock law enforcement, and these blip boards are going to go up all over, if law enforcement, whether it's FBI, TBI, Sumner County, if they're still involved, don't knock on his door, wow. He needs to be, in my opinion, they need to have a conversation with him. And I agree with that night. They need to DNA test the handcuffs just to make sure.
And Jay, I wanted to share this with you guys. I wanted to make sure it was up and running before I did. But if you go into Seth's channel, go to his channel, and then you go into the description,
Mm-hmm.
and under links, you'll see merch. If you click the link for merch, you're going to find some really beautiful merchandise that has Sebastian's face on there. I mean, there's a travel bag, there's a water bottle, there's a windbreaker.
Oh, they
Um,
put a windbreaker out? Oh, cool.
yes, a green hoodie.
Mm-hmm.
There's a
Oh,
there's a
we
flag for
should all wear
Sebastian.
green hoodies with Sebastian's face on it to send a message.
Oh,
Like the
he's
green
and they have them
hoodie, the
in
green
different
hoodie.
colors. Yeah, they got purple, blue. I mean, they have 8 colors. A really nice selection, guys. Small to 5X, right?
Mm-hmm. That is, thank you for
So,
sharing that with us. I had bought a shirt and I've raffled off several of the shirts on my show, but I bought myself one. And like I said, I loved it. I wore it so many times and I left it in a hotel on my move out here. So I will be buying another one too. And then, but someone walked up to me and asked if he was home yet. And, they were devastated he wasn't, and they were going to go home and follow the case. So they do work. Those shirts do advertise.
oh, absolutely. And this travel bag has his missing flyer on there with the QR code And then on the other side, it's the picture of Sebastian with the moon, the newest one that Sonia designed.
Oh, good. I can't wait to go look. I'll do that after I get off. And Nicole says, I
Yeah,
think people
I'm
should
sorry,
buy
I just want to
Sebastian
make sure it was
merchandise and
up
wear it
and
to the pig.
running.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that with everyone. So if you go to Seth's channel and click on his description, you'll find new merch. That's fabulous. And then
You
Nicole
were?
says, I think people should buy
Yeah.
Sebastian merchandise and wear it to the pig fest. Amen. That's what we're planning on doing. And Whispering has put up the link
Yay,
to
Donna, thank
oh,
you.
thank you, Whispering Wins. Well, I want to thank absolutely everyone for being here. Do you ladies have anything to add before we sign off?
I just want to say a message for the chat, the mods, you, Jay, say thank you for having me up. I am a very, very small channel, and I really do appreciate you having faith in me to come on panel. Takes a lot of trust to put someone on panel. I do realize that, and I want to tell Seth that we see you. We see you, Seth, and we're behind you all the way.
Amen. And Kiki,
Amen,
it's my
Kiki.
pleasure. Your research, Kiki, and the things you come up with, any conversations we've had back and forth, whether it's via text, email, or phone, you are so great at research, and I absolutely, it's my pleasure to have you both, and I'd love to do it again.
Thank you so much, Jay. And I just want to say if anybody has any questions as to whether Seth cares about his son, go over there and look at that merchandise and then tell me that he, isn't worried about doing everything and anything to bring awareness to Sebastian. And then I'd invite you to go watch that crappy video that was just put out by the Nasty Stepfoot and then tell me that, who cares? Who's still doing things? Who's still Sebastian's voice? And that's just all I want to say because I know that Seth gets drugged through the mud and I think it's the worst thing. It's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, really.
It just every time I see Seth, whether he's on the corner with a microphone trying to get the attention of a um, uh, sheriff who's paid by people to respond and getting no answers, whenever I see him, I tear up. I can't help it because you feel his pain. You feel his love. You feel his loss right now. He wants his son home. And like he said, he's not done making memories. So let's bring him home. And Bill, I thank you for saying,
Exactly.
Bill, that was a great point. I may have lost my shirt, but someone else may wear it and bring awareness to Sebastian. And that's a great way to look at it. Thank you so much. And the Real Me Too says, thank you, Jay, for your continued advocacy for Sebastian and support for Seth. He does appreciate everyone. Thank you, the Real Me. Thank you. And I know he does. I know there's so many, and he does appreciate Sebastian's army. Seth, he's not going to stop. So that's one thing. They underestimated the power of unconditional love because whatever Cretans did this they don't know how to unconditionally love. So they underestimated
I
unconditional love.
agree.
And the Real Me Too said, Sebastian is Seth's life. I know how bad he's hurting. It's hard to watch. Thank you, the Real Me Too, for standing beside him as well. And all of you, Sebastian's army. Kiki, do you have anything to add? Anything you want to add before we sign off, my friend?
No, just know that, I appreciate it, and I'm always looking and researching, and we're not going to stop looking and researching until Sebastian is home with Seth.
Yes. And let me say, if they don't want social media, armchair detectives, whatever they want to call us, researching and investigating, then why don't they get on the ball and start doing it, in my opinion? Then we would, then maybe we'd be learning from them.
Amen. And
Well
hopefully the
said,
next
Jay.
time that we meet, we'll be saying Sebastian's home.
That would be wonderful. That will be wonderful. A wonderful day. Let's all put green hearts in the chat for Sebastian, for Seth. Let's light it up before we say goodbye to each other. And I want to say all the missing children matter, all the empty seats. I'm going to make myself cry. all the empty beds, all the kids who aren't being tucked in, they all matter. And no one should be belittling those children. Everyone should be looking, everyone should be caring. Yeah,
I
apparently
agree.
they don't realize the power of social media, Dynamics. VI Dynamics, if you're in the bushes, said, do they realize who social media is? You know, they don't realize the power of social media. Thank you for all the green hearts, for your prayers, your good vibes you're sending to Seth, to Sebastian. And we're going to bring him home. We're going to bring him home. And then guess who's going to be laughing? Lady Justice. Thank you all for being here. Have a wonderful night. If you haven't hit the thumbs up or shared it, please do on your way out to raise awareness for Sebastian and to show a united front gathering for one reason, to bring him home. Blessings to you all, ladies. Thank you, and we'll do it again.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Kiki. I'll see you guys later.
Thank
Sebastian
you.
Strong.
Bye,
Yes, thank you
everyone.
all so much. Good night.
Sebastian Strong.